Live from the CSI Baseball Complex here on the campus of the College of Staten Island, New York, site of CSI versus John Jay College, the third game of a three-game set that was supposed to be played this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. Instead, these two teams played a doubleheader yesterday. They split that one, John Jay winning game one 11-4. The Dolphins returned the favor in game two 6-2. And now they meet for the rubber game of the three-game set, CSI versus John Jay, with the Dolphins as the home team this time here on their home field, the CSI Baseball Complex. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm David Pizzuto alongside Mike Babuski. And Mike, the CSI Dolphins season is 14 games old. They're 7 in the win column, 6 in the loss column, one tie, that being to William Patterson. They've had a bad streak here at home. They had lost 2 games in a row against Manhattanville last weekend. They were then idle for a long stretch. Had John Jay on this field yesterday for a doubleheader, dropped that first game, but then rebounded quite nicely for the second game.
Yeah, they did a nice job, Dave, coming back in game number 2. The Dolphins hadn't lost to John Jay since 2012, so, the team came in with a lot of confidence and really was hoping to get, a good start going in the conference, David, start out with a couple of wins, and, it was John Jay coming out of the gates quickly in the first game, and, they took a quick lead, and they really opened things up on the Dolphins, and, the Dolphins just weren't able to come back after the Dolphins scored a run in the top half of the first inning. It was John Jay coming out forward. So I think, Dave, we're going to step aside and take a break here for the national anthem. So we'll do that, and then we'll be back and talk a little bit more about yesterday's games and a little bit more about today's.
That's right, Mike. Both teams are exchanging lineups at this point, and then we will break for our national anthem. Just to go over a little bit of the tail of the tape, the Bloodhounds come in with a record of 4 wins and 10 losses. The Dolphins coming in at 7-6-1, but John Jay taking game 1 on this field yesterday in a doubleheader that was supposed to have been played on Saturday. They backed it up to Sunday, and then this single game was supposed to have been played yesterday. Instead, they'll play this one here today. Mike, this is the first game of a very long week for the Dolphins. Now, it's all tentative for weather, but they're home tomorrow to Mount St. Vincent, home again against the United States Merchant Marine Academy on Wednesday, home for a doubleheader against St. Joe's on Thursday, and then, of course, you have the weekend as well. So a lot of baseball this CSI team is looking to play this week.
Yeah, Dave, for the second consecutive year, the March baseball and softball seasons really have gotten blown out. And, you look back into March, and the team had no less than 9 cancellations, Dave, during the month of March. So those games are going to have to get made up, and they're going to be starting to get made up this week. And, like you say, Dave, a lot of baseball to be played not only this week, but next week as well. And, we're really only about 3 weeks or so, a little bit more away from the CUNY Championship. So the season's going to go quickly now as, just about a month left on the schedule.
Yeah, and even though the Dolphins have 14 games under them, there is still a team that is very much still finding themselves, trying to work out their best lineups, trying to figure out the left side of the infield. We've seen a lot of different combinations. So, one looks at the win-loss column and says, well, we're knee-deep into the season. But really, because of the lack of consistent play, both teams still looking to find the right combination and still looking to find themselves on the mound, too. James Taunton gets to start his 4th of the season for the Dolphins tonight as well.
Yeah, Dave, it's unfortunate because what happens with all these rainouts is that, you never really get an opportunity to get into a groove. Your pitchers can't really get into a groove, and, you're constantly coming out after long periods of time off. The Dolphins went from March 6th to March 19th without playing, then from the 19th to the 24th without playing, and then they just went from March 26th to April 2nd without playing. So those are a lot of gaps early in the schedule.
So let's take a timeout for tonight's national anthem, and then we'll get ready for first pitch here live from CSI. And we welcome you back here as the national anthem has been played here from the CSI Baseball Complex. The Dolphins are wearing their road colors. They are in the light blue tops, Columbia blue with black trim. Of course, white pants. John Jay will be coming up to bat first. Mike, while we have a couple of moments and James Taunton takes the first of his warm-up pitches, let's go over tonight's starting lineups.
Thanks a lot, Dave. First, for the visiting Bloodhounds, it'll be Brandon Thomas leading off and playing third. Zach Hyde will be at shortstop. He'll bat second. Brian Garcia at short. He'll be playing first base. Dylan Lordano will be catching. He'll bat fourth. Charlie Rodriguez will be in center field batting fifth. C.J. Meyer will be the left fielder batting sixth. R.J. Davila will be the designated hitter. He'll bat seventh. Aurel Diaz will be in right field batting eighth. And Sean Napier will be the second baseman in batting ninth. And Gerard Hirschfield will start on the mound for the Bloodhounds here this afternoon, Dave, but he's not scheduled to bat.
That's right. So, Hirschfield will give you his numbers, but before we give you his numbers on the mound for John Jay, we'll give you Taunton's numbers on the mound for the Dolphins. As we mentioned, this is his fourth start of the season. He's 1-2 this year with a 6.75 ERA. Hasn't gotten off to the greatest of starts, but he has been able to settle down his last couple of starts and give the Dolphins quality innings. He's third in the team with 16 innings pitched. He's given up 20 hits, 15 runs, 12 of them earned, 7 walks, and 13 strikeouts. So he's maintained some semblance of control, but he has given up 4 extra base hits. He's thrown 3 wild pitches and has hit 4 batters. And Mike, the word on Taunton is that, again, if he can get out of early inning trouble, he usually settles down and pitches well for the Dolphins.
Yeah, we saw him pitch here at the CSI Baseball Complex, Dave, in that opening game against Manhattanville. And just like you say, he had some problems struggling in the early innings and, did pitch a little bit better as the game went along. But unfortunately for the Dolphins, it was too late. And, again, when you're looking at the starting pitching here for the Dolphins this year, still looking to find themselves a little bit. Big start here for Taunton this afternoon.
Yeah, and of course, all of these starts go a long way in determining how Mike Morrow shuffles his lineup come playoff time, because as we know in the CUNY tournament, there's a lot of games in only 2 or 3 days of activity, so everybody gets a chance. The question is, where do you find yourself pitching? And Taunton, the big right-hander, is going to go after Brandon Thomas as his first batter faced. He's batting 162 this season, 4 RBIs, 9 runs scored. And he takes that one on the outside corner for a strike, so Taunton quickly ahead in the count to Thomas.
Let's get you the Dolphin defensive lineup here, Dave. It'll be Frank Muzio at first, Jet Navarrete at second base, Chris Moran at short, and Anthony Lozada will be at third. Glenister in left, Bobby Drake in center, and Nick Miola in right. Frank Sconzo will be catching, and sophomore James Taunton on the mound for the Dolphins this afternoon.
Quickly ahead on Thomas, 0-2, and that one is fouled back. So getting his first contact on the ball is Brandon Thomas, who will be playing third base, batting 162. This is his 14th start in 15 games for John Jay. He's only missed the 1 start, 37 at-bats, 6 hits. And that one is outside for the first ball of the game.
And, Dave, in 16 innings, Taunton has allowed 28 base runners, including 16 hits, so including 21 hits. So he just want to work on those runners per base, per inning, I should say.
And that one is fouled off, third base side. So staying involved here is Thomas. Thomas does not have an extra base hit this season. Like we said, has 4 RBIs. Leadoff man, once he gets on, is a threat on the base paths. And looks that one, called inside strike. So first strikeout of the game and our first out here as Taunton registers the first out via K. And that'll bring up Zach Hyde, who's perhaps John Jay's most fiercest hitter, batting .449. He has 8 RBIs and 12 runs scored. Now righty against righty here. Taunton looks in and delivers straight away for a strike.
Yeah, Dave, that's Taunton's 14th strikeout of the season in just 16 and a third inning. So he has been effective when able to get the ball over the plate.
And there's another look in for a strike. As Taunton not wasting any time looking to attack the John Jay hitters. John Jay hasn't offered at a pitch. to start the at-bat, and that one is a swing and a miss for out number 2. So Taunton, 2 at-bats, 2 strikeouts here to start this one, and Brian Garcia will be the batter. He is batting .340 this season, a team best 12 RBI with 11 runs scored. Shares the lead in RBIs, has the lead outright in runs, and that one is down low in the dirt for a ball. John Jay was able to get to the CSI pitching early in their opener yesterday. Helped them take a big lead en route to an 11-4 win over the Dolphins, only their 4th win of the season. And for the Dolphins, Mike, it was their first loss to John Jay since 2012.
Yeah, it's been quite a while, and, you know, that broke a big John Jay losing streak day because they won their first game of the year and then dropped 10 in a row. Or 9 in a row, I should say.
And that one is up high, so John Jay will have their first base runner of the game via the bases on balls. So Taunton, who had struck out the first 2 John Jay batters, has walked the third on 4 pitches. And coming up to bat will be Dylan Lodano, the catcher, who's batting .313 this season. Shares the team lead with 12 RBI, 8 runs scored. Lodano, this is his 15th straight start to open the season. Minimal lead off first and a inside called strike here on Lodano with Garcia at first. And there's a swing and a miss, strike 1. So, strike 2. As Taunton ahead, 0-2 on the hitter. Garcia has only stolen 1 base this season. He's at first, and Taunton will look him back in. So Taunton looks in, 0-2 pitch, and that one is skied into left field, and that one is continuing to carry, and looking it over the fence will be Glenister. That's going to be a home run, a 2-run homer for John Jay, and the Bloodhounds lead 2-0 here over the Dolphins in inning number 1.
Yeah, and, you know, that time Lodano was down in the count 0-2, and Taunton tried to come inside for the third strike, got way too much of the plate, and you know, what a job of hitting there by Lodano as he blasted that one deep over the wall in left field for a home run, and that's going to give the Bloodhounds a 2-0 lead there, Dave.
And for Lodano, that was his 3rd home run of the season, and now feigning bunt is Charlie Rodriguez, who takes it away but is going to get called for the strike. So Taunton struck out the first 2 John Jay batters, then walked Garcia on 4 pitches and yielding a home run to Lodano. Now delivers inside low corner for a strike. And once again, up 0-2 in the count. He was 0-2 to Lodano as well before yielding the 2-run homer. And that one's way outside. Wastes that one for a ball. So John Jay, who attacked the CSI batters early. And the count evens at 2-2. Oh, and that one gets off of Taunton's shin. No one there for the Dolphins. Obviously, that's going to be a hard luck hit for Charlie Rodriguez as he beamed Taunton right back at the mound. And Taunton looks like he's able to kind of shrug it off, but he's going to receive some attention there on the mound.
Yeah, and, you know, that was a very hard-hit ball, Dave, that came right back to Taunton and went off his foot, and you could hear the ricochet all the way from up here on that one. And you're right, he does appear to be okay, but, you know, everybody's going to go out and have a look and just make sure he's okay. And looks like he might take a couple of warm-up throws, maybe not even, and then he'll come back and pitch. But a little bit of a frustrating inning here for Taunton, Dave. He strikes out the first 2 batters, walks Garcia on 4 straight pitches, gets ahead of Lodano 0-2, but catches way too much of the plate on the 0-2 pitch. Then gives up a single to Rodriguez, so 2 outs, a runner on first base for the Bloodhounds.
Yeah, so now C.J. Meyer will have a turn up, and he sees one low for a ball. Taunton's first pitch since getting hit on the Line drive back toward him by Rodriguez, who is at first base. A good lead for him there. Taunton delivers, and that one is skied straight up in the air. Getting a play on it is Sconzo. Has to back up, but he does make the grab, and the Dolphins are out of the inning. So we go to the bottom of the first inning. The Dolphins will have their first at-bat of the game, but they are down by a 2 spot here in the first inning. It's the Bloodhounds 2 and CSI coming to bat. Stay with us. You're watching CSI Baseball right here on CSI Sportsnet, csidolphins.com. Welcome back here to the CSI Baseball Complex. The Dolphins are down on the scoreboard 2-0 here, still yet to come to bat. And Mike, why don't you give us the starting lineup for the CSI Dolphins?
Sure, Dave. For the Dolphins here in the bottom half of the first inning, it'll be Frank Sconzo leading off and catching. Bobby Drake will be in center field, batting second. Nick Miola will be in right field, batting third. Frank Muzio will be at first base, batting fourth. Glenn Gledison, the left fielder, batting fifth. Sean Becker will be the designated hitter, batting sixth. Anthony Lozada will be at third base. He'll bat seventh, I should say. Chris Baran will be at shortstop, batting eighth. And Jeff Duarte will be at second base, and he'll be batting ninth.
Right, and we mentioned that going on the hill for John Jay will be Jared Hirschfield. Hirschfield is 0-1 with a 9.22 ERA. 13 innings pitched this season. He's given up 13 hits, 14 runs, 16 walks, and 9 strikeouts.
Yeah, and Dave, that really becomes the challenge in a baseball season for a lot of these teams is, playing doubleheaders every day and 3 doubleheaders in 4 days and things like that. Really test the pitching staff because these pitchers cannot come back and pitch on no days rest after starting the game before.
Absolutely right. Sconzo sees one low and inside for ball 1. Sconzo batting .279 this season. 6 RBIs, 12 runs scored. Is the team leader in runs scored. He's got 3 extra base hits, a couple doubles and a triple. Hirschfield delivers once again inside, but that catches the strike zone, and the count evens at 1-1. Here to Sconzo. One of a small cluster of seniors for this team. Frank Sconzo, expected leaders this season. In the absence of a lot of veteran talent as that one skips in the dirt for ball 2. 2-1 is our count.
Opponents are batting .350 this year, Dave, against John Jay. So opponents have had a lot of success hitting their pitching, and the Dolphins are going to need to get some runs here this afternoon, trailing early by a score of 2-0.
And that one is too high in the strike zone, so 3-1 now the count to Sconzo. And that's right, Mike, if John Jay suffers in one area, it's that their pitching has failed them at times. They're 4-10, obviously, as a staff. A 9.91 team ERA. As Sconzo skies that one down the first base line, but that will carry out of play, so the count will run full. But yeah, the statistics show that John Jay given up about a run an inning this season, given up 160 hits in 105 innings. Sconzo hoping to take advantage here as he has walked 10 times, and he will walk number 11 as he gets on first base, gives the Dolphins their first base runner of the evening, and Bobby Drake will carry the bat now, batting .216 this season, 7 RBI, 8 runs scored. Drake, another one of those seniors. This is his 3rd season with the Dolphins. And now he'll have Sconzo to work with at first base here as the Dolphins down on the scoreboard looking to cut into the 2-0 deficit. Drake takes the first pitch strike. This is Drake's 14th start of the season in game number 15 for the Dolphins. 3 extra base hits, 2 doubles, a triple. He has walked 7 times as well. After the check back to first, Hirschfield delivers, and that one is fouled third base side, so Hirschfield ahead in the count here, 0-2 on Drake.
Bloodhounds pitching did pretty well yesterday, Dave, against the Dolphins. First, Christian Rodriguez pitching the complete game and picking up the victory, allowing just 2 earned runs in that game. And then, although John Jay's starting pitcher got hit hard and allowed 4 earned runs and 6 total, the Bloodhounds were able to get over 4 innings of shutout relief pitching in that game as well, in game number 2.
Yeah, we say it every year, Mike, when we cover games. Most of these games, especially come tournament time, come down to pitching. Who's able to exercise better control, and obviously fielding is the other big issue. Errors, of course, extending innings. That's what wins games here on this level, as that one is now low and inside for ball 2. So Drake gets the count even. Hirschfield gives it a long look. Sconzo not flinching at first. Now the delivery. Low and through the legs of Laudano, so that will get Sconzo easily into second base. And the count will be full now on Drake as he has a runner in scoring position.
And, Dave, already the Bloodhounds getting themselves in trouble. The Dolphins have yet to put the ball in play. They already have a runner down on second base, and now a full count to Bobby Drake.
Yeah, so Drake with Sconzo's speed at second could score him on a long single somewhere in the outfield. Hirschfield will give once again Sconzo a look back at second. Now delivers, and that's way up high. And so Drake earns the second CSI walk in as many at-bats. And with nobody out, we have runners at first and second. And Nick Miola, the hot-hitting freshman, batting .357, leading the Dolphins. 8 RBIs, also leads the Dolphins with 7 runs scored, and now he's got a golden opportunity here to put the Dolphins in business here in the bottom of the first inning.
Yeah, Dave, there's no defense against the base on balls, and the Bloodhounds, after picking up a 2-0 lead, the first thing you want to do is come out and throw strikes, and, of course, it's easier said than done. But the Bloodhounds now are facing the Dolphins, who have the tying runs on and nobody out here in the bottom of the first.
Miola is the batter. He's tied for the team lead with 15 hits this season. He's making his 14th start of the year. 4 doubles and a home run. And he takes that one way low and inside for ball number 1, as Laudano did well to keep that in front of him. Sconzo is the runner at second, Drake at first. They both earned on via walk. Hirschfield, the delivery, and that one does hit the low strike zone for strike number 1, 1-1. In case you joined us late, a 2-run home run by Dylan Laudano in the top of the first inning is the only difference in the scoring. 2-0 John Jay. We're in the bottom half of the first inning. And that one is low, skips in the dirt for ball number 2. And so Miola should get a hitter's pitch here, Mike. CSI's best hitter through the first 14 games of the season's only missed the 1 start. Has a .438 on base percentage and a .524 slugging. CSI expecting big things from Nick Miola as his career continues to roll on, as Hirschfield steps off the rubber, wants time to think about this pitch.
Yeah, and he's thrown a lot of pitches already, Dave, and yet to get an out.
Yeah, remember, started 0-2 on Drake and lost him. Now the count 2-1, and that one once again too low, as Laudano's glove was in the dirt, and now the count goes to 3-1. And Hirschfield is 1 pitch away from walking the bases loaded here. And he's going to have a talking to from the shortstop Hyde, who came over to whisper some words of encouragement. 3-1 pitch. You wonder here, Mike, if Coach Morrow is going to let the bat fly here if Hirschfield comes inside. Here's the pitch, and indeed, Miola offers at that one. It is a low liner that lands in front of Meyer. The throw to third base, the cutoff, not in time, obviously, to get Sconzo in from second, and so the Dolphins are on the scoreboard. An RBI single For Nick Miola, his 9th RBI of the season. Sconzo scores the run. It's 2-1 Bloodhounds.
Yeah, a nice bit of hitting that time by Miola, and he pulled the ball down the left field line. And, the left fielder for the Bloodhounds, Meyer, tried to come over, but way too far over in left center field. And, seeing that the ball was going to drop was Sconzo, so he was able to come around and score easily. Drake holds on at second, so Dolphins still in business, Dave. Still nobody out. Still 2 on, but they now trail 2-1.
And the cutoff throw to Thomas obviously kept Drake at second base, so he's at second. And Miola obviously at first. And that pitch is high to Muzio, so now 1-0 is the count to him.
Yeah, Hirschfield's been 3 balls on every batter so far, Dave. He's walked 2 and allowed a base hit. And, pitching with 3 balls on a pitcher, always a problem.
And that one is a little low for a ball, so now 2-0 on Muzio. And we wondered whether head coach Morrow would give Miola the green light on a 3-1 to swing away, and he indeed did. Works to CSI's benefit.
Yeah, Hirschfield already to 20 pitches, Dave.
And that one is way high for ball 3, so now Muzio will have a 3-0 pitch. Muzio this season batting .324. He's got 3 RBIs, 7 runs scored, and see the motion to the John Jay bullpen as they have already someone warming up on their side. Here's the pitch, 3-0, and that one does hit the inside corner for strike number 1.
So Miola's RBI, Dave, as you mentioned, his 9th of the year, will give him the team lead. For the Dolphins.
He was tied with Anthony DeMarco and Glenn Glenister in that category. And Muzio swings at 3-1, but that one is fouled straight back, so that'll run the counts at 3-2. And so Muzio, who's walked 9 times this season, that's second highest on the team, actually third now that Sconzo has walked.
Bloodhounds already with action down in their bullpen, Dave.
Yep. Here's the pitch. And that one is low and outside for ball number 4. So Dolphins will run the bases loaded here with Glenn Glenister up to bat. Dolphins already with a run in this inning. Still nobody out. And Glenn Glenister batting .319 this season. 8 RBIs, was sharing the team lead in that department. 6 runs scored. He'll have Drake at third, Miola at second, and Muzio at first to work with. Right-handed bat is Glenister. Here's the pitch from Hirschfeld. High and inside, ball 1.
Glenister in his junior year, Dave, his 3rd season as a Dolphin.
Yeah, he's a former CUNY Rookie of the Year 2 years ago. He was the tournament MVP last year, so he's having himself a great career for the Dolphins. And that one hits the inside corner of the strike zone, so the count will be at 1-1. Mike, I can't quite make out who's warming up in the John Jay bullpen. That netting is providing just the right screen for me, but we'll try to get you a number there. Meanwhile, Glenister slaps at that one, but that one is going to be lined foul down the left field line, so the count 1-2 to him. Might be Christian Pacheco down there, down the right field line, warming up for John Jay.
Good opportunity here, Dave, for the Dolphins to come right back and retake the lead here in the bottom of the 1st.
And that one is just high and outside for ball 2, so the count even, as that time Hirschfield wanted that one, gave the umpire a long look, but too far outside. So 2-2 the count now. Bases loaded for the Dolphins. They're down 2-1. Big opportunity here for CSI in the bottom half of the 1st. Glenister line shot, third base line foul.
Yeah, that had head coach Mike Morrow ducking for cover a little bit. Glenister whipped that one, but out in front and pulled it foul, so the count holds at 2-2.
Big early moment of the game. The Dolphins yielded 2 runs in their turn of the 1st, and now with their chance to hit, in a good position to tie things up or take the lead. Way high. Glenister sees that one through for ball number 3, so another full count situation. Hirschfield, who came into the season walking 16 batters in 13 and 2/3, has walked 3 in this inning. In danger of losing his 4th here, Glenister, full count. Nowhere to put him. Here's the pitch. And Glenister is going to ground that one. Chance for a double play. The throw to first is in time. Now a run does score. No RBI for Glenister, but the Dolphins have tied the game at 2 on the ground out by Glenister.
And that was a nice defensive play that time by Thomas, Dave. And, I thought he had plenty of opportunity to possibly step on third and come home if he wanted to. Instead, he made the short play to first base, a good, solid defensive play. Bloodhounds get 2 outs on the play. Game's tied at 2, and now the Dolphins with a runner at second base and 2 out. A pretty good outcome there for the Bloodhounds and their starting pitcher, Gerard Hirschfield.
Yeah, and I'm sure for Hirschfield, having struggled to that point, he was grateful just to get the 2 outs and concede the run. As Becker is the batter. Becker batting .261 with 2 RBIs and 3 runs scored. He's got Muzio at second base to work with. A 1-0 pitch upcoming. Here's the pitch, and that one drops in for a strike, 1-1. Action continues in John Jay's bullpen. I believe that is Pacheco throwing up some warm-up tosses for John Jay. Meanwhile, Hirschfield trying to get out of this inning, having just yielded the 2, and that one drops in for a strike.
Yeah, Hirschfield was 1 pitch away, Dave, from walking in a run. Instead, he induces Glenister to hit into a double play. Big turning point here in the first.
And he'll feel much better if he can get Sean Becker out here with the runner still in scoring position for the Dolphins. Becker has 6 base hits this season, 1 extra base hit. That was a double. He's walked 3 times and has also struck out 3 times this season.
Hirschfield now over 30 pitches, Dave, in this first inning.
Yeah, remember, this is a single 9-inning game as well. And he will step off the rubber. On deck is Anthony Lozado for the Dolphins. He's batting .167, still looking to get uncorked here in 2017. Becker hoping to give him a chance. 1-2 pitch. Inside. Ball 2.
That was a close pitch that time, Dave, taken by Becker. Good eye. Looked pretty good from over here, but the count evens at 2.
Yeah, and Hirschfield, if there's a pitch that he has been getting, that was the one coming in right on the knees inside corner. Instead, it'll be a 2-2 pitch upcoming. And now Becker asks for time and will step out, take a couple of practice hacks. 2-2 is our score. 2-2 is our count here in the bottom of the first inning. 2 outs here for the Dolphins. Muzio at second base. Becker the batter. And Becker cuts on one left field. Chasing in on it is Meyer. He will make the catch, but not before the Dolphins get themselves 2 runs on the benefits of just 1 hit. They score 3 walks in the inning, but at the end of 1 complete, we have a tie game. It's 2-2 going into the second inning. Stay with us. You're watching CSI Baseball right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com. Welcome back here to the CSI Baseball Complex at the end of 1 complete inning. We are at 2-2. John Jay with 2 runs on 2 hits in their turn of the first, and the Dolphins getting 2 runs on 1 hit in their half. And now James Taunton with the score essentially 0-0 again. We'll have the 7, 8, and 9 hitters to deal with. R.J. Davia will be the leadoff man here. The designated hitters batting .343 this season, 5 RBIs, 8 runs scored. And the first pitch is down low for a ball on the outside. Now for Davia, this is his 14th start of the season in 15 games. And he cuts on that one and misses for a strike, 1-1. Davia 12 of 35 from the plate this season. 1 double, 1 triple. And he swings and misses at that inside strike. So 1-2 now the count. In case you joined us late, Taunton had struck out the first 2 John Jay batters of the game, but then got in trouble, walked Garcia on 4 pitches, and then yielded a 2-run homer. And that time he picks up his 3rd strikeout as he fans Davia swinging. And Jarrell Diaz will be the batter. The number 8 hitter is batting .231 this season. 3 RBIs, 5 runs scored. 2 extra base hits, both of them doubles. And Taunton working quick here. Gets Diaz to chop at that one. It's down the first base line and fielded cleanly by Muzio, who makes the step on the first base bag for out number 2.
So 2 quick outs once again for the Dolphins and Taunton here in the second inning. In the top of the first, after retiring the first 2, he allowed a walk and a 2-run homer. Let's see if he can close the inning out here, Dave, after 2 quick outs.
Yeah, sure. And Sean Napier will be the hitter, rounding out the lineup for John Jay. He's batting an even .200 with 3 RBIs. And there's an inside strike by Taunton. 5 runs scored for Napier as well. Napier, this is only his 8th start of the season, his 11th appearance. Taunton working quick and has Napier sky that one towards center field. Having to go back away is Drake, but he makes up some nice ground. And for the first time in today's game, we have a 1-2-3 half of an inning. So Taunton gets John Jay out 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the second inning. Score still tied at 2. Stay with us. You're watching CSI Baseball right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com. Welcome back here to the CSI Baseball Complex. We're getting set for the bottom half of the second inning. The Dolphins scored 2 in the first to tie things up at 2. And now here we are in the bottom of the second inning. And the Dolphins will go at 7, 8, and 9 in the order. Anthony Lozado, Chris Moran, and Jet Navertney.
You know, Dave, the Dolphins have to feel a lot better the way James Taunton pitched in that second inning. 3 quick outs. He got out of the inning in I believe it was 8 pitches, so a nice job by Taunton and the Dolphins. Let's see if they can break on top here in the bottom half of the second inning.
Yeah, Taunton picked up his 3rd strikeout of the game as well in that inning. Meanwhile, Hirschfield got in trouble via the walk in the first inning. Let's see if he can find the strike zone more consistently in this inning. He deals first pitch inside for a ball to Lozado, who's batting .167 this season. No RBIs, 1 run scored for the freshman. There's the pitch, and that one is too low for a ball, so Hirschfield missing inside, now missing low. For Lozada, this is only his 13th at-bat of the year. It's only his 4th start, his 8th appearance this year. 2 for 12 from the dish. Here's the pitch, and that one does catch the inside corner of the strike zone, 2-1.
Yeah, Hirschfield has struggled with the strike zone so far all year, Dave, in 2017, and those struggles continued in the first inning tonight.
And Lozada fists that one into right field, and it lands in front of Diaz. That'll be a base hit for Lozada, his third of the season. And the Dolphins, for the second straight inning, have their leadoff runner on base. And Chris Moran will be the batter. 176 batting average so far for Moran, who had to miss time due to injury here, but he's making his 8th start of the season.
And you're right, Dave, that will be called a base hit. However, that was a ball that Diaz absolutely should have caught. He took a step back on the ball and then didn't charge in very much. And, it's got to be a little frustrating for the starting pitcher, Gerard Hirschfield, who struggled with his control. And, that time, Dave, he probably should have gotten it out on the base hit.
Yeah, it seemed like it caught Diaz by surprise. He kind of took a couple of steps back and then decided to charge in. By then it was too late, as we have another called strike here on Moran, so he's 0-2 in the count. Moran making his 8th start of the season, as we mentioned, just the 1 RBI, 2 runs scored this season. Here's the pitch, and it's offered at but swung and missed by Moran, so 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning with Lozada still at first, as registering his first strikeout of the game. Jared Hirschfeld gets Moran to swing and miss.
Yeah, that was a nice job of pitching that time, as for one of the few times tonight he got ahead of the count and struck out Moran on 3 pitches.
Jet Novertny will be the batter. He's making his 8th start of the season, his 13th appearance. He's batting .348, 8 hits on 23 at-bats. Had a big afternoon yesterday, a couple doubles. He now has 7 RBI and 5 runs scored on the season. There's another check back at first base on Lozado, and he is back in time. Lozado has stolen 1 base this season, Mike, on 1 attempt.
Novertny, one of 3 freshmen in the lineups for the Dolphins here this afternoon. Lozada and Miola, the other 2.
Lozada is at first base, as getting one on the high outside corner of the strike zone was Hirschfield. So he's quickly ahead on Novertny, 0-1. Sconzo is on deck. He walked and scored in the first. Here's the pitch. And that one is swung on and hit to shallow left. Now charging in is Meyer. He will make the catch. Lozado on his horse getting back to first base. And there will be 2 out here with the top of the order coming back up, Frank Sconzo.
Yeah, that was a nice defensive play that time by C.J. Meyer. He also took a step back on the ball, Dave, but broke in quickly and was able to make the catch about knee high, get the ball back in quickly. So 2 outs now and a runner on first for the Dolphins.
So as we mentioned, Sconzo, the batter for the second time in the game. No official at-bats. He walked and scored his first time up. Hirschfield, once again, will give Lozado a long look at first. Now delivers to Sconzo, and Sconzo skies that one to center field. Rodriguez has to pull back, gets under it, makes the catch, and gets the John Jay Bloodhounds out of the second inning. So the Dolphins get a leadoff hit, but strand Lozado at first, and at the end of 2 innings complete, the score remains 2-2. Stay with us. You're watching CSI Baseball. More to come right after this. Top of the order upcoming for John Jay here in the top half of the third inning. The Dolphins and John Jay Bloodhounds are tied here at 2 apiece as we get set for the third. And, Mike, I look down at some of the players on the field, and a lot of the guys have now put parkas on, their long hoodies. It gets cold awful quick here, especially when that sun goes down. And that's been another, we mentioned the rainouts and, the snowouts to start the season, but the few games that the Dolphins have played have been in some adverse weather, and especially for baseball, it's really hard to get into a rhythm when you're playing against the elements.
Yeah, you know, Dave, the temperature's down to 52 right now. Usually, if you could figure you can make it 10 degrees colder out on the field. That makes it in the 40s, and you know, you're right, Dave. That's very cold for baseball, and you know, at least for the players out in the field, both pitchers doing much better job in the second inning. That first inning for both teams, you know, a lot of standing around, and you know, in cold weather, one of the keys to playing well is throwing strikes.
And that's what James Taunton did in that second inning after he settled down after giving up a 2-run homer in the first, and now delivers a strike here to start things off to Brandon Thomas, who struck out looking in the first inning. One of 3 strikeouts here for Taunton through the first 2 innings of play. And there's a swing and a miss, strike 2. So quickly ahead of the count is Taunton once again, who does work quickly, will not waste time there on the mound.
Thomas batting just 162, Dave, coming into today's game as the leadoff hitter.
Here comes pitch number 3 issued by Taunton, and that's a curveball in there for strike 3. So for the second time, Taunton gets Brandon Thomas down on strikes. And we have one out here for Zach Hyde, who also struck out in the first inning. He went swinging for the second out of the game at the time. One out here in the top of the third, and there's a strike.
You know, Dave Taunton, a big, strong, tall, right-handed pitcher, and, you know, you can see that he's got good stuff out there on the mound.
And that one skips outside, so there's the first ball of the inning thrown by Taunton. Hyde had come into the game batting .449. That's easily the best mark on the team. 8 RBI, 12 runs scored. And that one is 2 inside, so ball 2. As Hyde sees that one through, never yielded the batter's box. Count is 2-1. And that one is cut on and hit down the third base line, but that'll be foul, so Lozada sees that one through. Count goes to 2-2. At least I have 2-2. Mike, the scoreboard says 1-2, and it is 1-2, so I stand corrected. One of those first 2 pitches was a call strike, and that one is chopped towards second base. Fielding it clean is Navertny. The dish over to Muzio is in time, and there's 2 away.
Yeah, Taunton's starting to get in a little bit of a groove now. He's retired the last 6 bloodhounds he's faced since allowing that 2-out single to Charlie Rodriguez in the first.
And where he got into trouble in the first inning was issuing a 4-pitch walk to this man, Brian Garcia, who walked and scored in the first. Came in on Dylan Lodano's home run, and Taunton delivers outside for ball 1 here. So Garcia still has not seen a strike from Taunton.
Yeah, Garcia very good at working the pitching counts, coming in with a 47% on-base percentage here in 2017.
And had he not skipped away from that one could have come inside and hit him. So now way ahead in the count is Garcia. Taunton now needs to come in with a strike. And that one is fouled back, so there's the strike Taunton was looking for. 2-1 is the count.
Garcia also with 5 doubles, a triple, 2 homers, and 12 RBIs.
Yeah, dangerous hitter. And that one inside and gets away from Sconzo as well, so the count will go to 3-1 for Garcia. That first inning walk also tied him for the team lead in that department as well with 12. Mike mentioned his on-base percentage. He's used to getting over to first. Here's the pitch, and that one is low for ball 4. So for the second time in the game, Brian Garcia finds himself at first base via the walk. And now Taunton will have to face Dylan Lodano, who took Taunton outside the park in left field. With the wind blowing in that direction, his 3rd home run of the year made the score 2-0, and now with a base runner to work with, Lodano steps up to the plate once more.
Yeah, and Lodano really got all of that one, Dave, driving it high and deep over the left field wall for that 2-run homer. 3 home runs on the year, and 3 home runs, Dave, in the college baseball season is pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when you can get one outside of this ballpark as well. We've seen a lot of other ballparks, Mike, that don't have quite the same dimensions as this one. Home runs are few and far between here as we have a call strike against Lodano. Taunton offers high for ball one that time. Lodano not swinging at that one. Lodano leads the team with 14 RBIs, picked up 2 in the first. Here's the pitch, and that one is swung on and hit sharply towards left field. Glenister going back. That's going to hit the warning track and off the wall. Coming in to score easily will be Garcia, and holding up at second will be Lodano. So his fantastic season continues. A double, another RBI for Dylan. John Jay up 3-2.
Yeah, so for the second time here today, Brian Garcia drew a walk, and for the second time, Dylan Lodano drove him in. First with a long home run, this time with a long double, another very well-struck ball by Lodano, who picks up his 15th RBI of the year and gives the Bloodhounds a 3-2 lead.
We're beginning to see why Lodano is the CUNY leader in RBIs and why Garcia is the CUNY leader in runs scored, as that bunt traces foul on Charlie Rodriguez, who singled back to Taunton in the first inning to keep that inning alive. And now he'll have Lodano to work with at second base.
And Lozado was way back at third, Dave, and had that not rolled foul, there was no chance they were going to throw Rodriguez out at first.
Yeah, Rodriguez with very good speed at the plate as well. And that one skips in the dirt. Sconzo doing well to keep it in front of him, but that will be a ball. 1-1 is our count.
Yeah, so in both the first and the third, it was Taunton able to cruise through the first 2 hitters, but walks to Garcia and hits by Lodano have re-given the Bloodhounds the lead.
And that one does hit the inside corner for a strike. 1-2 is the count. Taunton does have 4 strikeouts in the game. He's yielded 3 hits, but 2 of them have been against Lodano, a home run and a double. It's accounting for all the John Jay scoring. That one is low for a ball 2.
Good eye that time by Lodano. Very close pitch, but he takes it for, to Rodriguez, I should say. He takes it for a ball.
So 2-2 is the count. Here's the pitch, swung on and fouled back. Just getting a piece of it was Rodriguez. All the John Jay runs today, 3 of them have come with 2 outs. And here comes another 2-2 pitch here for Taunton. That one is in the dirt once again, ball 3. So now the count runs full to Charlie Rodriguez.
So big moment here in the game for Taunton and the Dolphins. They already given up a run here, trailing 3-2. Full count pitch now coming up to Rodriguez.
Rodriguez has walked 5 times, and that one goes behind him. And I believe it did catch a little bit of Rodriguez, so having to go back to second will be Lodano. That's actually a fortunate break for Taunton because that pitch was wild and behind Rodriguez. That would have easily brought Lodano over to third. So instead, it's a walk. It's a hit by pitch. Rodriguez gets the free pass to first. Lodano holds at second. And the batter will be C.J. Meyer, who popped up to the catcher to end the first inning. A big moment here in the game. And that one is chopped to second base. Navertny gets the out at second as he flipped it over to Moran in time. So a 4-6 fielder's choice on the play ends the top half of the third. And at the end of 2.5 innings of play, John Jay has assumed the lead. It's 3-2 Bloodhounds. Stay with us. You are watching CSI Baseball right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com. Welcome back here to the CSI Baseball Complex. The Dolphins down on the scoreboard 3-2 at the hands of John Jay. This is the third game of a three-game set between John Jay and the Dolphins. The team split their afternoon doubleheader yesterday, and the winner here of this rubber match will take the regular season series. Jared Hirschfield against James Taunton is the pitching matchup. Taunton got out of the jam in the top of the third inning after yielding a run. John Jay has their second lead of the game. And up for the Dolphins will be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Bobby Drake walked and scored in the first inning. He will lead off here in the bottom of the third. Drake, who had come in batting .216, still without an official at-bat here. And Hirschfield, who lost a lot of control in the first inning, got through a 1-2-3 second in the bottom of the order. Here's the pitch, and that one is swung on and fouled back. So once again, Hirschfield getting set to pitch here. Here's the delivery, and that one too inside for a ball.
Drake coming into this game batting just .216 on the year. He's 8 for 37 with a double, a triple, and 7 RBIs. And, you know, Dave, I think the coaching staff is looking for a little bit more hitting out of Drake in center field.
Yep, looking to get uncorked as he takes that one on the outside corner for a strike, so the count 1-2. Yeah, Drake's at-bats have been limited with the Dolphins his first couple of seasons, but he's now an everyday fixture in the lineup. Dolphins looking for a lot of production out of him. And that one is skied in the air, foul territory, but there is Garcia, and he tracks it, makes the grab, and there's one out.
So 1 up, 1 down quickly here for the Dolphins, and it'll bring up Nick Miola. Miola, the right fielder for the Dolphins, got the only RBI of the game so far for the Dolphins as he took over the team lead with 9 with his RBI single in the first.
Yeah, so Miola having a great start to his career. 9th RBI of the season, as Mike mentioned, in the first inning. And he takes that one outside for a ball.
Just 2 hits on the afternoon for the Dolphins, who trail by a score of 3-2.
And that one continues to be outside, so that'll be a ball. So 2-0 as Lodano had set up outside and didn't have to move much there. Dolphins looking to get something started here in the bottom of the third inning, and that one is chopped at and grounded to short. Hyde made a long run to get it. Delivers in time to Garcia for the second out.
Good start here to the bottom half of the third inning for Hirschfield as he picks the first 2 outs up quickly, and that'll bring up Frank Muzio. Frank walked in the first in his only at-bat.
Yeah, Muzio walked and was stranded at second base in that first inning after Glenn Glenister's double play ball. Looking to give the Dolphins a start here. Left-handed Muzio. And he takes the up-high delivery for a ball to start this at-bat. Here's the pitch by Hirschfield. Swung on, and getting a small piece of it was Muzio, so the count will be even at 1-1. We're in the bottom of the third inning, a game scheduled for 9 here, single game. Dolphins will get right back to work tomorrow when they will face Mount St. Vincent in another 9-inning match, non-conference. That one is skied straight up, foul territory, third base side. Will there be enough real estate to make the play? Yes, there will for Thomas, who gets his glove on it and records the out. So we go to the top of the fourth inning. No runs for the Dolphins in that one as they go down 1-2-3. And at the end of 3 complete, 3-2 in favor of John Jay. Stay with us. You're watching CSI Men's Baseball right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com. Welcome back here to the CSI Baseball Complex. We are getting set for inning number 4. The Bloodhounds lead the Dolphins 3-2. And to take you through the 4th, 5th, and 6th inning of today's matchup, it's Mike Babuski.
Thanks a lot, Dave, as the College of Staten Island trailing in this game by a score of 3-2. And, you know, you see a little bit of the tease that is James Taunton, Dave, the 6'7" right-hander, the ability to come in with good stuff and throw strikes and strike out batters, but then the same pitcher, 3 walks and a hit batsman through 3 innings.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Mike. In every single inning, well, the first 3 innings, Taunton has been able to get the first 2 batters out in the inning, and then he ran into trouble in the first inning, issuing a walk on 4 pitches and then a 2-run homer, and then in the third, a walk and an RBI double, the difference in the scoring. So Taunton has looked great when to start the innings and has faltered a little bit in the first and third. Let's see if he can have another 1-2-3 here as he faces Davila, Diaz, and Napier.
As that ball is going to be grounded slowly by the mound, played there by Taunton. The throw over to first base will not be in time, so Davila is going to get the Bloodhounds off to a good start with an infield single here leading off the 4th.
Yeah, you know what? Not much that could be done that time. R.J. Davila had taken a healthy swing at it, just didn't catch enough of the ball, and a very fortunate role as Taunton had to make his way off the mound to track it, and he made a very good throw to first base, just not in time. So credit Davila, like you said, with the infield single, and now John Jay has a base runner to work with. First time that they've had a base runner with under 2 outs in an inning.
So Jarrell Diaz will be the batter. Diaz grounded out unassisted to first in the second. He's 0 for 1, and he takes the first pitch for a ball, 1-0.
Yeah, and John Jay, which had not had a lot of production from the bottom of their order, now in business here with a base runner on early.
Good pitch that time by Taunton. Had Diaz tied up inside. That'll even the count up at 1-1. Taunton looking in. The 1-1 pitch is going to be outside for a ball now, 2-1.
Yeah, and for Davila, he has stolen 2 bases in three attempts, so he is a little bit of a threat there at first base.
As that'll be on the inside corner, and that'll even things up at 2-2.
And Taunton likes to work very quickly, Mike, so you have to make sure he's paying attention to the runner Davila at first as well.
The 2-2 pitch is going to be swung on and fouled back, so Diaz stays alive. Count holds at 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, no one out. A runner on first base as Davila leads off with the infield single. And the Dolphins trailing here by a score of 3-2. The rubber match of the 2 teams' conference games here this year, as the team split a doubleheader yesterday, as that pitch is going to be a swing and a miss, strike 3, in what were home games for the Bloodhounds. The Bloodhounds won game 1. Dolphins came back in game number 2. Rubber match here this afternoon, and the Bloodhounds off to a good start, leading 3-2, as Sean Napier will be the batter. Napier fly to center. He's 0 for 1.
And he hit that ball well to center field. Had Bobby Drake really chase it down, had to get on his horse and make a nice play between left center.
As that first pitch is way up high for a ball, 1-0.
And for Taunton, that was his 5th strikeout, that last at-bat against Jarrell Diaz. And be really nice to get the second one here with Davila at first base as John Jay gets ready for the top of their order again.
Taunton looking in, and the pitch on the outside corner for a strike, and that's going to even the count up at 1-1. Napier came in batting .200 to today's game in limited plate appearances.
Oof.
As that pitch is going to be a strike now, 1-2.
Yeah, and that one completely fooled Napier as he was about to step out of the batter's box. He thought that was heading up inside. It broke back in. So nice pitch that time for Taunton.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. As that's going to be up high for a ball, 2-2. And you know, Dave, the way that Taunton delivers the ball at 6'7", it's got to be pretty intimidating for a right-handed hitter.
Yeah, absolutely, and he obviously throws very hard as well.
The 2-2. just off the outside corner for a ball. That's going to run the count full now to 3-2.
Yeah, James doesn't allow you to think a lot either. I mean, he really gets the signals and tosses. I mean, he works quickly. That's his forte. And as a batter, you really have to think about what you want to do quickly.
As that's going to be lined into right field, and that's going to fall in for a base hit. Coming in and playing the ball is Miola. Holding at second base will be Devere. Second hit of the inning for the Bloodhounds. Fifth hit of the game, and they have runners at first and second with one out, and that'll bring us back to the top of the lineup and Brandon Thomas.
Yeah, and Thomas has had two pretty bad at-bats against Taunton. He's struck out twice, and here he's in a big spot here, 2 base runners on, and this is a big at-bat here for Taunton as well. His team already down by 1. John Jay hasn't hit the ball particularly hard in this inning, but an infield hit, and that one a dinker into right field.
As that time Thomas tries to show bunt, pulls the bat back and takes it up high for a ball, 1-0. And you know, this is a batter, Dave, that Taunton struck out on 4 pitches in the first and 3 pitches in the third inning. So he struck out Thomas both times here tonight. And the 1-0 pitch is bunted high up in the air, foul. That'll be off the press box and out of play, and that'll even the count up at 1-1.
Yeah, you know, the base runners, Mike, aren't really convinced about Brandon Thomas's ability to lay one down because they really haven't taken off from their bases when laying down those bunts. Let's see what they do here with a 1-1 count if Thomas decides to bunt again.
The wind and the 1-1 is going to be taken on the inside corner for a strike. That'll make the count now 1-2.
Now the bunt obviously has to be off here, and Thomas just hasn't put a good bat on any ball so far here in his afternoon. See if Taunton comes and attacks him right away here in this at-bat.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch. It's swung on, and it's going to be grounded to first base. It's going to be played there by Muzio, and he'll take it over to the base in time for the second out as the runners will advance now to second and third with 2 outs, and Zach Hyde will be the batter. Hyde 0 for 2 on the afternoon, struck out and grounded to second. Big at-bat here for the Dolphins.
Yeah, you said it, Mike. A big at-bat. Hyde coming into the game, batting about .450 on the season. He's 0 for 2. Very dangerous hitter. He's got very good speed as well. So anything hitting the infield is always going to be a challenge.
As that first pitch is taken for a strike, 0-1. Big first strike that time by Taunton.
Yeah, getting ahead of the batters has also been crucial here for James.
Taunton looking in the 0-1 pitch, check swing, taken just down for a ball. That's going to even the count up 1-1.
Yeah, I did think Hyde, held the bat in time, except I thought that might have caught a bit more of the strike zone, but too low and 1-1.
Taunton now looking in for the sign. And the 1-1 pitch is taken on the outside corner for a strike now, 1-2.
Yeah, James got a lot of good breaking stuff. Mike, you can see the ball coming in on the curve and fooling the batters a little bit.
Taunton now ahead in the count, 1-2. And the 1-2 pitch is going to be swung on and lined back out of play, so the count will hold at 1-2. Brian Garcia on deck. Dolphins yet to retire Garcia today. He's walked twice and scored twice for the Bloodhounds. The 1-2 pitch. Ooh, that one was awful close, Dave. Not sure where that one was, but that'll even the count up at 2-2.
Yeah, I don't think Sconzo sold it very well, Mike. He kind of got on his knees. If he would have plated that a little better, that could have been called strike number 3.
2-2 pitch is going to be swung on and lined back once again, so Hyde making Taunton work. Count holds now at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on, top of the 4th. 3-2 Bloodhounds lead. The wind and the 3-2 pitch is swung on and bounced to second base. It's going to be played there by Naverti, and he gets it over to Muzio in time for the final out of the inning. So the Bloodhounds threaten, but don't score in their half of the third inning. No runs, a couple of hits, 2 left. 3.5 in the books. Dolphins trail 3-2. We'll step aside, take a break, and we'll be right back. We're back, and we're getting ready now for the bottom half of the fourth inning. The Bloodhounds got 2 runners on with just 1 out in their half of the fourth inning, but a nice job by Taunton as he comes back to retire Thomas unassisted to first base and then get the dangerous Zach Hyde to ground out to second base.
Yeah, and that's been a key for Taunton is he's gotten, he's lost a couple of batters and has gotten in trouble, but that time managed to stay the course, had 2 runners on with just 1 out, was able to get 2 batters out right at the top of the order and get out of that inning, rest of that inning unscathed. So nice job by Taunton to get out of trouble. And, going out for another inning of work is going to be Jared Hirschfield for John Jay. Remember, Mike, he was in danger of getting pulled in the first inning when he walked three out of the first 4 batters and yielded a run. Since then, he's settled down a lot. He's earned now his 4th straight inning of work, and we'll see if the Dolphins can cut in to this John Jay lead and, get even and maybe even take the lead against Hirschfield.
Yeah, and Dave, the Dolphins had the bases loaded with nobody out in the bottom half of the first inning, and since then, Hirschfield has gotten 9 Dolphin outs and allowed just 1 single, and that to Anthony Lozado on a play that really could have been made in right field. So Hirschfield has really settled down since the first 4 batters here this afternoon. And it'll be Glenister, Decker, and Lozada to see if they can bring the Dolphins back as they trail by a score of 3-2 as we head into the bottom half of the 4th inning. And the first pitch by Hirschfield is going to be taken for a ball 1-0.
And if you remember, it was Brandon Thomas at third base who made a really nice play on the Glenister at-bat to double him up in that first inning for the first couple of outs that John Jay registered. That kind of settled Hirschfield down a lot.
As that's going to be down for a ball 2-0. And, like you mentioned, Dave, that was on a 3-2 pitch as well. After Hirschfield had walked the bases loaded around a single by Miola. And since then, he's really done a nice job settling down. But Glenister now ahead in the count, 2-0. Hirschfield looking in for the sign, and the 2-0 pitch is going to be taken for a strike, 2-1.
Yeah, Glenister was taking all the way that time, wanted to see a strike, and now does. We'll see if the bat comes out of his hands here.
Hirschfield looking in for the sign. And now the 2-1 pitch is going to be down low for a ball, and that's going to run the count to 3-1.
And if you had Coach Mike Morrow, you wonder if he's telling his batters to stay a little bit more patient. Hirschfield walked, as you mentioned, 3 out of the first 4 Dolphins batters, and since then, Dolphins have been taking some healthy cuts, but really haven't registered much offense.
As Hirschfield winds, the 3-1 pitch is going to be taken for ball 4, and that was the Glenister was the first batter since the first inning to run the count to 3 balls against Hirschfield, and now he's going to draw the base on balls, and that gets the Dolphins in business, Dave. Tying run at first base, nobody out here in the bottom half of the 4th inning, and it'll bring up the designated hitter, Sean Becker.
Yeah, and Becker lined a sharp liner to left field for an out back to end the first inning for his first at-bat, but he did hit the ball well, and now he's got Glenister at first to work with. Not a great deal of speed at first, but Glenister taking a healthy lead.
The wind, and the first pitch is going to be taken for a strike 0-1. Glenister thrown out in his only stolen base attempt here in 2017.
And on deck is Anthony Lozado, who's had the Dolphins only hit since the first inning.
The wind, and the 0-1 is going to be way up high for a ball 1-1.
That's the thing with Hirschfield, is that when he does miss the strike zone, he misses it by a foot or so. So it's either real close or not even close to being a strike.
So 1-1 now, the count on Becca. As Hirschfield winds, checks the runner at first. And the pitch is down low for a ball, 2-1. And, Dave, with Glenister at first base, and you mentioned not much speed there, sometimes these pitches just work themselves, worrying way too much about what's going on at first base. And, really the task at hand is to get the batter out. And, like you mentioned, Glenister, not much speed. And I think that's why Ludano went out to have a word with Hirschfield.
Yeah, and, Becker really is not one to lay down the bunt either. At least he hasn't shown that thus far this season, as we see more action in the John Jay bullpen as well. But you're right, Mike. I think at this point you just got to kind of focus on the batter here, especially since you lost the first one via a walk.
The wind and the pitch, and that's not even going to be close. And all of a sudden, Hirschfield is behind in the count now, 3-1. And Dave, you look at Hirschfield's stats coming in the game, and it's like you mentioned before. You just want to stay patient, and you count on Hirschfield doing what he's been doing this year, as that one is going to be just on the outside corner for a strike, 3-2.
Yeah, just caught a little bit of the strike zone that time. Otherwise, he was a little high and outside as well.
So 3-2, no one out. Let's see if Glenister goes off for first base. He does go, and the pitch is going to be skied in the air into center field. Rodriguez coming over. Now it'll be the right fielder Diaz, and he makes the catch for the first out. So Becca flies to right on the 3-2 pitch. Glenister will go back to first base, and now with a runner at first base and one out, it'll bring up the third baseman, Anthony Lozada.
Yeah, and Lozada was the one who kind of dinked a hit into right field that maybe Diaz should have had to start off the second, but he's 1 for 1 officially here tonight.
So Hirschfield getting ready for his first pitch to Lozada, and here it comes, and it's going to be on the outside corner for a strike, 0-1.
It looks like number 12, Marco Alonso, warming up for John Jay in their bullpen. Nobody active for the Dolphins on their side.
We mentioned Lozada, one of 3 freshmen in the starting lineup here this afternoon for the Dolphins, is now Hirschfield's going to go over and throw to first base. Glenister had a short lead, gets back easily. So we'll reset now for the 0-1 pitch.
For Lozada, 3 hits and 13 at-bats so far this season.
Hirschfield ready, and the pitch is way up high for a ball. That's going to even the count up at 1-1.
And Glenister had to make up a lot of real estate because he was going on that pitch to Becker and had to retreat all the way back. So John Jay making sure he's staying put at first base. Possible hit and run scenario, especially with one out.
So Hirschfield not liking that baseball. He's going to get another one. And he'll take an opportunity to rub the ball up and go back to the mound. And we'll reset here with 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out here in this bottom half of the 4th inning. 3-5-0 for the Bloodhounds, 2-2-0 for the Dolphins. Hirschfield ready with the 1-1, and that's going to be swung on and fouled back out of play. Count goes to 1-2. Weather wreaking havoc with the schedule here early in the season for both the baseball and the softball team, Dave, and the weather certainly looks mixed for the rest of the week.
Yeah, you know what? Looking at the forecast, obviously you take a look at the temperatures, and we have a strike 3 call on Lozada, so that'll put it up to Chris Moran here, who's also struck out in the game. But yeah, Mike, you look at the forecast and you see, mid 50s, and you start to think, wow, that's great compared to what we're used to. But even that's really not ideal for baseball, especially when you mention once the sun goes down, the cold temperatures. It's always colder at CSI than it is anywhere else. You got to drop the temperatures down. You got to pick up the wind speeds here. You can see the flag blowing out in the outfield. just not ideal. And then, of course, when you get all the reschedulings, you have to play a lot of baseball in just such a condensed span of time. And it's just really hard to play good baseball when you're playing against Mother Nature and you're playing so much in such a compacted amount of time.
And rain in the forecast for both tomorrow and Thursday, Dave, as that ball's going to get away and going down to second base and bringing the tying run into scoring position will be Glenister.
Yeah, and it's all, basically just a flip of a coin at this point, Mike. We know that there's bad weather coming in tonight into tomorrow. The Dolphins will obviously cover their field tonight, but still the damaging effects of the rain into the outfield, and then, of course, on the first and third base foul lines. The last thing you want, Mike, is to push a game and then, someone slipping and falling or, crashing down as they're trying to run the base pads and suffering an injury. That's the last thing you want, and it's things that you have to consider here when you're playing baseball.
So 1-1 to Moran. He swings and he skies that one up in the infield. Garcia makes the play at first base for the final out here in the fourth. So the Dolphins get a leadoff walk, but Glenister cannot advance past second base. Nothing, of course, for the Dolphins. 4 in the books. Bloodhounds lead 3-2. We'll step aside, take a break, and we'll be right back. We're back, and we're getting ready now for the top half of the fifth inning as the Bloodhounds lead this game by a score of 3-2. And, Dave, the Dolphins got the leadoff runner on in their half of the fourth inning, but couldn't get Glenister past second base.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Mike, after the first inning, we felt maybe this game would be, a high-scoring affair, big clutch hitting at times, but both pitchers have done a nice job of settling down since that first inning. We've seen the one run yielded by James Taunton. He'll face his arch nemesis, Dylan Lodano, in this inning. But the guy who's set the table for Lodano in the first and the third innings was Brian Garcia, who's now up at bat.
As he drills that one down the right field line foul, and for the first time this afternoon, Taunton gets ahead of Garcia 0-1. As that's swung on, grounded back to the mound, off the glove of Taunton. He'll try to make a play on the ball, but he won't be able to do so. So we'll wait for the official scoring. It'll probably be a base hit, Dave. But, once again, an opportunity for the Dolphins maybe to get an out. But Taunton couldn't help himself that time as the ball bounced off his glove.
Yeah, I think they've meant to give that an error to Taunton. I don't agree with that call. I think that should be a base hit. But they're going to give an error to CSI on the play. I felt that was a base hit. It went off of Taunton's glove. I think he just kind of made a stab at it. But in any event, without the benefits of a hit out of the infield, Garcia's on base for a third time here. He's walked twice, earned on via the E1. And now the very dangerous Dylan Lodano, 2 for 2, a home run and a double, 3 RBIs, having a day.
Yeah, he's really played well, and he's even in the count now at 1-1. Taunton winds, and the 1-1 is swung on and nubbed slowly towards first base, and that will roll foul, and the count will go to 1-2. Lodano driving in all 3 runs for the Bloodhounds here this afternoon, and he came in batting .313. He's now up to 3 home runs and 15 RBIs. As he's played very well here this afternoon and has helped stake the Bloodhounds to this 3-2 lead. The pitch is going to be outside for a ball, and that's going to run the count even to 2-2.
Yeah, and you better believe Taunton knows exactly what Lodano has done in this game. Taunton's only given up 5 hits, but the 2 longest ones was to this fella.
As that's going to be a check swing, taken for a ball, and that's going to run the count forward to 3-2. And a nice job of hitting by Lodano. We mentioned Taunton a 6'7" right-hander, but Lodano's hung right in there and really hit the ball hard in both his at-bats. The pitch is swung on and nub foul, so the count will hold full at 3-2.
Yeah, so that time Taunton offering to challenge here at Lodano, gave him something to swing at. Lodano able to waste it off.
So 3 balls, 2 strikes now on Lodano. As Taunton looking in for the sign, he's ready. The 3-2 is a swing and a miss, strike 3.
Big out that time and a big confidence booster for James Taunton, as Lodano had a runner on base for the 3rd time and couldn't bring him in that time. And that will leave it up to Charlie Rodriguez, who's also been on base twice today.
Yeah, Rodriguez singled and was hit by a pitch, so he's 1 for 1. That was an infield single that he had in the 1st. The wind and the pitch is taken just high for a ball, 1-0. Time Sconzo wanted the home plate umpire to have a good look at it, and he called it a ball.
He sure got a good look at it. It was almost in front of his mask. It was a little high in the strike zone.
The wind and the pitch.
That's a strike.
Is in there for a strike. That'll even the count up at 1-1. Left fielder C.J. Meyer on deck here for the Bloodhounds. Bloodhounds who had not beaten the Dolphins since 2012 before winning the opening game yesterday. That's a swing and a miss, 1-2. Ahead in this one, 3-2. As we're in the top half of the 5th inning with 1 out. And Garcia down at first base.
Garcia has some decent speed at first, Mike. We haven't seen him take off yet and try for a steal in this situation. Taunton that time backs him up.
So now we'll look to reset as Taunton steps off the rubber. Now he's back on. As Garcia starts to edge his way off of first base. And the pitch is going to be a swing and a miss, strike 3. So Taunton, after getting charged with an error on the leadoff ground ball by Garcia, comes back to strike out Lodano and Rodriguez, getting both players out for the first time here this afternoon. And now it'll bring up the left fielder, C.J. Meyer.
And for Taunton, that's his 7th strikeout. He's now taken over the team lead in that category. So nice job by J.T. Taunton.
The wind and the pitch is going to be down low to Meyer for a ball, 1-0. Meyer fouled out to catcher and was out on a fielder's choice in the 3rd. He's 0 for 2. Taunton looking in for the sign, and the 1-0 pitch is going to be swung on and nub foul down the third base line out of play. That'll even the count up at 1-1.
Yeah, C.J. Meyer has ended 2 innings previously. Taunton hoping to get him out for the 3rd time.
The wind and the pitch is a nice off-speed breaking pitch. Came back over the inside corner for a strike, and now Taunton ahead in the count, 1-2. Taunton working quickly, and the 1-2 is swung on, skied up in the air. Drake, the center fielder, drifting in a few steps. He's under it, and he makes the catch for the final out here in the 5th. For the Bloodhounds in their half of the 5th inning, no runs, no hits, an error, 1 left. 4.5 in the books. We're halfway through with the score. Bloodhounds 3, Dolphins 2. We'll step aside and take a break. You're watching baseball coverage right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com. We're back and we're getting ready for the bottom half of the fifth inning with the College of Staten Island trailing by a score of 3-2. And you know, Dave, you mentioned earlier the upcoming schedule for the Dolphins, and it's quite a lot of games coming up. They'll be back in action tomorrow, a 9-inning game against Mount St. Vincent, first pitch at 6 o'clock. Then on Wednesday against the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy at 6:30. Then a doubleheader on Thursday against St. Joe's Brooklyn. And then back in action Saturday with a conference doubleheader against Maine. And then on action on Sunday against New Jersey City University. So a lot of baseball coming up here, Dave, at the CSI Baseball Complex.
Yeah, today was opening day at Citi Field too, Mike, right, for the Major League Baseball. And Dolphins are looking to get a lot of baseball action in as well throughout the week. So it's officially baseball season. Hope Mother Nature cooperates. We're supposed to get a lot of rain tonight into tomorrow. Some rain expected later in the week on Thursday as well. So again, the Dolphins always have two opponents: the team wearing the opposite colors and Mother Nature. That really puts a damper on the season. The Dolphins, both softball and baseball teams, always lucky to get games in March, period. And if not for their trips, Mike, where they get, a large cluster of games, it really leaves a lot of these northeast teams with very, very few games in the month of March. And it forces them to almost squeeze 35, 38 games in a span of 30 days in April.
Yeah, as Naverti takes that one up high for a ball, and that's going to make the count 2-1. And the last 2 years, Dave, especially, have been very tough in March. As I remember last year, we went almost through the end of March before we could even get in any home games here. Right. And this year, the Dolphins softball team just was squeezing in a couple of home games so far this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, even the games that they have played have not been in good condition. So, it's one thing to play baseball and softball. It's another thing when you're playing them when the wind chill factors are in the mid-30s. No one can play at their best in those conditions. Hitters can't hit well in those conditions. Pitchers don't pitch well in those conditions. Fielding is off. Everybody's tight. No one really likes that experience. And even on a night like this, Mike, it's considered a break from some of the bad weather, and it's still not ideal conditions for baseball and softball.
Yeah, it's a little too cold, as it's a 3-1 count on Naverti, and the pitch is going to be inside for a ball 4. So for the second consecutive inning, Hirschfield is going to allow the leadoff runner on with a base on balls. And, Dave, he was able to escape in the fourth inning, Glenister making it as far as second base. But very dangerous putting the leadoff runner on with a base on balls. And I think we're going to have a pitching change here, Dave. So while we have that pitching change, why don't we step aside, take a break, and we'll be right back. We're back as the College of Staten Island gets a leadoff walk on a 3-1 pitch as Jeff Naverti leads off the fifth inning, getting on board, Dave, and looks like we're going to have a pitching change now for the Bloodhounds.
Yeah, that was the fifth walk that was issued by Hirschfeld. So he comes out, he yields to Marco Alonso. Alonso making his 7th appearance of the season, all in relief. He's got no win-loss decisions, a 5.56 ERA. He's pitched 11 1/3 innings. He's given up 17 hits, 10 runs, 7 of them earned, 7 walks, 4 strikeouts. He's given up 2 extra base hits, including a double and a home run. But, Mike, obviously the most interesting thing about Alonso, you can see it on your screen, a very unorthodox delivery. He starts out way low, and he's a pure sidearm pitcher. So a little bit of a different look than what the Dolphins are used to. That should take some of the right-handed, batters by surprise a little bit. That release from the extreme right-hand side. We'll see if the Dolphins can catch up to it, try to make something out of it. For all the problems that Hirschfield had with his control, Mike, he only yielded 2 hits for the Dolphins through 4 and a third innings. So we'll see if Alonso could contain the lead. Like you said, Novotny does have good speed at first base, and nobody out here. Scanzo is officially 0 for 1 on the afternoon. He walked his first time up, flied out to center his second time up. He has scored a run in the game as well.
So Alonso getting ready to make his first pitch to Scanzo as he's going to go over to first base, and I'll give us a quick chance to give you his numbers. 11 and third innings, he's allowed 17 hits, 10 runs, 7 earned, walked 7, struck out 4. So Dave doing the numbers quickly, that's 24 base runners in 11 and a third innings, and that's a lot of base runners.
Yeah, and the Dolphins do not steal a ton of bases, but Novotny at first has spent time as a pinch runner as well. He's 2 for 2 in stolen base attempts. The Dolphins would love to get him into scoring position, especially with nobody out here.
As that first pitch is going to be taken on the inside corner for a strike, 0-1. And, again, Novotny with some speed at first base, but, if you're Alonso and you've given up all those base runners, your first priority has got to be to get the guy out at the plate.
Yep.
As they're going to have a pickoff play at first base, and the throw down to second base will be in time. So that was a nice job by Alonso as Novotny took off, didn't wait for Alonso to commit to the plate, and he's going to be caught stealing, and it'll be 1-3-6 on the putout.
Yeah, 1-3-6. Picked off at first, and Frank Scanzo now with 1 out has to deal with a 0-1 pitch.
So the 0-1 pitch, here it comes, and that's going to be on the outside corner for a strike now, 0-2. So Novotny, who was 2 for 2 in stolen bases, is now 2 for 3 as he gets caught stealing for the first out. Scanzo down in the count now, 0-2. The wind and the pitch is going to be swung on foul back and out of play. And the count holds at 0-2.
Yeah, tough break for the Dolphins, who get a inning started walk and have wasted that here as now the bases are clear. And Alonso will be responsible for anybody that he puts on from this point further.
As that's going to be swung on and grounded to second. Napier's there, and he'll get it over to Garcia in time for the second out. So Alonso's come in. He's gotten the caught stealing for the first out and gotten Scanzo to ground out to second, and now that's going to bring up the center fielder, Bobby Drake. Drake walked and scored in the first and fouled out to first in the third. He's 0 for 1.
Yeah, so Drake now has to get the Dolphins started here as Alonso coming in and getting a couple of quick outs here. Music to John Jay's ears in the bottom of the 5th inning. Still plenty of baseball to play. This one's scheduled for 9.
As that's going to be swung on, one hop, hit to second base. Napier there. He gets it over to first base in time for the final out of the inning. So nice job of relief pitching by Marco Alonso as he gets the Dolphins in order. Nothing across. We've now played 5 innings of play. Bloodhounds lead 3-2. We'll step aside, take a break, and we'll be right back. We're back getting ready now for the top half of the 6th inning as James Taunton will remain on the mound for the Dolphins, and he trails by a score of 3-2. And, Dave, while we have a minute here and we get ready for the top half of the 6th inning, why don't we talk a little bit about this women's softball team, Dave, that is absolutely red hot, have upped their record to 12-3, and are getting pitching numbers out of this squad that is unprecedented in CSI softball history.
Yeah, the bottom line, Mike, is that the CSI women's softball team, they are a tremendous favorite in the CUNY Conference. They've got all their pitching staff back from last year. They did graduate a couple of very good players, but their hitting is probably the best it's ever been under head coach Stella Porto. And, you know, the Dolphins have very high aspirations. They're a big favorite in the conference, but you know, Mike, it's one thing to be a favorite on paper. It's another thing to have to back it up on the field. And the Dolphins, for all of their struggles with weather, for all of the bad circumstances they've been handed, they have just gotten off to a terrific start to the season. They've now won 7 straight games. They've, you know, basically handled the teams that they're supposed to handle. That doubleheader sweep of Stockton University about a week ago was a very impressive one, considering that they hadn't played in so long. This is the real deal for the softball team. This is a team that's won games on the national level before in national championship competition. High hopes, high aspirations, a great team on paper, and now they're backing it up on the field.
As the count is even at 1-1, and, you know, Dave, just to touch on some of these numbers for this women's softball team, they've allowed 1 run in the last 8 games. They have a team ERA of 1.03, and Jackie Cortella is 6-0 with a .18 ERA.
Yeah, and she gave up a run in her first start of the year in the last inning of that game, and since then has not allowed a single run. So she's working on a streak. I believe it's 27 straight innings, Mike. I'm not 100% sure. I know, you know, after their game Sunday, I had seen the numbers, but I had since forgotten. But yeah, I mean, basically since her first start of the year, which obviously came in very early March in Florida, at a time where the Dolphins just didn't even have a single outdoor practice yet. She gives up a run in that game and then hasn't given one up since. Just tremendous. She's having an MVP year. You know, it's hard to flesh out what's going to happen over the next 4 weeks, but the bottom line is the Dolphins are in great shape if she can continue this pace.
As we're going to have the first out on a strikeout. So 1 out here for the Bloodhounds. And, you know, of course, Nicolette Trapani pitching well. And then Allison Marr, the third pitcher for the Dolphins, Dave, comes in and pitches a no-hitter and ends up being tied for 8th on the all-time strikeout list as she struck out 12 in that no-hitter.
Yeah, listen, I mean, the Dolphins' opponents have been on the weaker side. I mean, Brooklyn this past Saturday has really had some struggles over the last couple of years. York has struggled over the last few years as well. But the bottom line is, Mike, you know, how many times have we seen teams that had a big advantage and then they go out and, you know, maybe they don't play up to their potential. But at least what we could say is, look, the Dolphins have had opponents in front of them that they should beat, and they're going out there and they're beating them. And they're beating them in very impressive fashion. Like you mentioned, Allison Marr has been removed from softball for 3 years, Mike. She's returning to the game after injury and after not having played for 3 years. She comes out and she no-hits Brooklyn. You know, that's a very impressive statistic. And, you know, the Dolphins are just getting it done. They're very focused. They don't take anybody lightly. And that's the reason why they've had so much success so far.
So 3-0 the count now on Diaz as he takes that one for a strike, and the count goes to 3-1. And, you know, Dave, the big conference games for the Dolphins still ahead of them against Hunter and Baruch College. We'll see how they fare in those. And non-conference doubleheaders still remaining, as that's going to be high for ball 4, as Diaz will go to first with the 1-out walk. But William Patterson, New Jersey City University, Farmingdale State, all on the road, then a doubleheader, makeup doubleheader against Montclair State at home. Nationally ranked Moravian on the road, Dave, down in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and Drew and FDU Florham. So lots of non-conference doubleheaders remaining for the Dolphins as well.
Yeah, and that's the other thing with CSI is they always load their schedule up with very, very tough national and regional powerhouse competition. No exception this year, as the Dolphins will make their first pitching change of this game here, Mike.
Yeah, so James Taunton's going to come out after allowing a 1-out walk. So we'll step aside, take a break, and we'll be right back. We're back with one out, I should say, in the top half of the sixth inning. The Dolphins trailing by a score of 3-2, and after Taunton allowed that base on balls to Diaz, head coach Mike Morris has seen enough, Mike, and has decided to make a pitching change.
Yeah, Juan Rodriguez, this is his first appearance of the season, Mike. He has been not available to the Dolphins up until now, and so Rodriguez comes into the game with his first action. It's a big spot for him. His team is down by 1. He's being tasked here to keep this thing under control. He's got the number 9 hitter in front of him, and then a very lethal top of the order for John Jay with a runner on base and 1 out. So a big spot here for Juan, and we'll see what he can give the Dolphins here in this relief appearance.
Rodriguez, a junior pitcher, and coming in here this afternoon, and like you mentioned, Dave, a big spot in the game, and the Dolphins really not hitting that well this afternoon, Dave. Just a couple of hits here this afternoon, so they need to keep the game at 3-2.
Yeah, and Juan Rodriguez comes in for a career. He's 3-2, a 5.57 ERA. This is only his 12th appearance. He only made 3 appearances last year, Mike, and only had 1 start. He only pitched 6 1/3 innings last season, so he's been used very, very sparingly. But he had a very good, freshman campaign where he went 2-2 with a respectable 6.23 ERA for a freshman. Not bad, 26 innings pitched. But for his career, he's given up 46 hits in 32 1/3 innings, 24 runs, 20 of them earned, 11 walks, 18 strikeouts.
So Napier will be the batter. Napier 1 for 2 this afternoon. Now 6 for 27 on the year, and the first pitch is going to be taken for a strike 0-1.
Yeah, good way to start here for Rodriguez, especially coming out of a walk by Taunton that put Jarrell Diaz at first.
So no balls, 1 strike as Rodriguez gets ready. And here comes the 0-1 as the runner goes, and the throw down to second base is not in time. That was a good throw that time, Dave, but just not in time.
Yeah, and it looked like Moran might have missed the tag, that he had to kind of reach back to make the tag, but albeit a stolen base for Jarrell Diaz, who now sees himself halfway home. And a 1-1 count upcoming here against Napier.
So 1 ball, 1 strike to count. As Rodriguez gets ready. A couple of Dolphins trying to sneak behind the runner at second, and that pitch will be on the outside corner for a strike 1-2.
And, of course, that runner at second base still belongs to Taunton officially.
So Diaz picks up his second stolen base of the year in 2 attempts. And now Napier down in the count 1-2. The pitch is going to be swung on and just gets enough of it to stay alive, and the count holds at 1-2.
Yeah, Rodriguez took a lot off that pitch with the hard Taunton he's relieving, of course, to kind of mix it up and give one a little slower. That time it took Napier a little bit of a hesitation there to offer at it.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 1 out. A runner in scoring position at second base, and the Bloodhounds lead 3-2, and the 1-2. Swung on, grounded to third, bobbled there, but getting the ball over to first base in time for the out will be Lozada, but going to third base on the throw will be Diaz. So Dolphins get the out, 5-3 for the second out. Diaz will now be down at third base with 2 out, and that'll bring us back to the top of the order and Brandon Thomas.
Well, good concentration by Lozada to stay with the ball, not give up on the play, give a nice throw over to first base to get the out, and then good concentration also by Jarrell Diaz to follow the play, follow up the play at first by taking third, putting himself in scoring position here for Brandon Thomas.
So Lozada gets the out, and now it's up to Rodriguez to get the third out as that first pitch is taken just inside for a ball, 1-0.
And for Thomas, he is officially 0 for 3 in the game. He struck out twice and grounded out to first base his last time up.
Rodriguez looking in for the sign now. He's down the count 1-0, and the pitch is going to be taken for a strike, and that'll leave the count up at 1-1.
And a lot of, talking from the CSI bench. They're trying to will Juan Rodriguez out of this inning. Keep it to a 1-run game here in the 6th.
Here comes the 1-1 pitch by Rodriguez. And that's going to be swung on, and that's going to be blooped into behind second base, and there to make the catch will be Naverdi for the final out here in the sixth inning. So for the Bloodhounds, no runs, a walk, one left, 5.5 innings in the books. Bloodhounds lead 3-2. We'll step aside and take a break. You're watching baseball coverage right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com. We're back, and we're getting ready for the bottom half of the sixth inning. The Dolphins trail this one by a score of 3-2. The Bloodhounds picked up 2 runs in their half of the first inning. Dolphins came right back, putting their first 4 base runners on to come back and tie the score up at 2. But a big double play ball by Glenister limited the Dolphins to just 2 runs in their half of the first inning. Then the Bloodhounds came back with a run in the top half of the third, and Dave, no scoring since then. John Jay leads by a score of 3-2.
Yeah, 4 out of the game's 5 runs were in the first inning. Since then, both pitchers have done a nice job, and now we're going into the relief appearances, and working his first full inning will be Alonso on the hill for the John Jay College Bloodhounds. He will have to face the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for the Dolphins, so no better time for the Dolphins to try and get some offense generated here than with their 3, 4, 5 hitters. Nick Miola is up at bat. He's 1 for 2 here and laces that one. That's going to be a fair ball down the third base line.
Yeah, so good start for Miola as he drives that down the left field line, and he's going to be in at second base easily standing. So, Dave, the Dolphins have 3 hits here so far this afternoon, and their right fielder, Nick Miola, has 2 of them.
Yeah, absolutely, and both hits were good hits. That one was a screamer down the third base line. Absolutely no chance for Thomas to cut it off at third. And Miola is the leadoff base runner. And, you know, for the Dolphins, Mike, that's the 5th time in 6 innings that they've had their leadoff runner on. As you know, they have only been able to push the leadoff runner across to home only once.
As the Dolphins choosing to show bunt with their cleanup hitter, Frank Muzio, up, and he takes the first pitch for a ball here, 1-0. And, you know, Dave, with the right-handed sidearm, left-handers usually love batting against right-handed sidearm pitches.
Yeah, and that one will get officially called a ball as Muzio was able to lay off.
1-0 the count on Muzio. He slides his hands up the bat again, and the pitch is inside. And not sure how that missed him, Dave, but he takes it for a ball, 2-0.
Yeah, I think he did Alonso a favor by kind of stepping out off to the side, actually coming inside the batter's box to stay out of the way of that one. Otherwise, he would have gotten a free pass to first.
So sorry, Dave. Muzio now ahead in the count, 2-0. The wind, he shows bunt once again, and he takes that one for a strike, 2-1.
Yeah, but Mike, the Dolphins have had a leadoff runner on base in the first, the second, the fourth, the fifth, and now the sixth. See if they can make it hurt this time with Miola at second.
Yeah, head coach Mike Morrow looking to play some small ball here and get that tying run down to third base. And this time he takes the sacrifice off, and the ball is grounded right back to the mound, and a nice play by Alonso to get it over to Garcia for the out. So Miola is forced to hold at second base. Now there's 1 out, and it's going to bring up the left fielder, Glenn Glenister.
Yeah, and a good job by Alonso, too, to kind of look over to the play at second base, forced Miola to retreat, and then Miola had to slide back into second, so no chance to take third on that play. So we'll do it over here, except with Glenn Glenister now at the plate.
Glenister grounded into a double play in the first, walked and reached second on a wild pitch, I should say, in the fourth. He's 0 for 1. Alonso looking in, and the first pitch to Glenister is going to be up high for a ball, 1-0. Lights on here at the CSI softball baseball complex, and the Dolphins trail here by a score of 3-2. And the 1-0 pitch is going to be down low for a ball, 2-0.
Yeah, that one kind of got away from Lodano, but actually it did hit Glenister, Mike. So Glenister is going to be able to get to first base via the hit by pitch. So the second time he's been on base today.
So Glenister will go down to first base, still only 1 out, and now the Dolphins with the tying run at second, the go-ahead run at first, and the designated hitter, Sean Becker, to bat.
Yeah, Becker's lined to left field and then flew out to right field, so both times was able to get it out of the infield, but into an outfielder's glove. Let's see if Becker could find some green.
Let's see if the Dolphins could get some production out of the bottom of their lineup here as the first pitch is outside for a ball, 1-0, and John Jay hurting themselves with the lack of control from the mound. Glenister on first base. He was hit by a pitch. Miola at second. He led off this inning with a double with 1 out. And the pitch. So on grounded to third, tailor-made double play as going over to first base will be Thomas for the final out. Second 5-3 double play of the afternoon for the Dolphins. They threaten but do not score. They leave 1. We've played 6 innings complete. Dolphins trail 3-2. We'll step aside, take a break, and we'll be right back. We're back, and in the bottom half of the 6th inning, the Dolphins were able to get a leadoff double from Nick Miola, and Glenn Glenister drew a 1-out hit by pitch, but Sean Becker grounds into a tailor-made double play, and the Dolphins trail by a score of 3-2 as we get ready now for the top half of the 7th inning. And here to take you the rest of the way here in this afternoon's single-game conference game will be my broadcast partner, Dave Pizzuto. Dave?
All right, thank you, Mike. And, yeah, Mike, we were talking during the break about the Dolphins just not being able to kind of climb over the hump. They've had some leadoff runners on, and now it's in the hands of their relief team led by Juan Rodriguez to kind of keep John Jay at bay. No matter what happens, James Taunton with another good starting outing, having given up the 3 runs on 5 hits. But now it's Juan Rodriguez's decision at this point if the Dolphins can get back into it. But he's got to keep the Bloodhounds here off the scoreboard. Zach Hyde will start things off, lays down a bunt, third base side. It's going foul. Lozado sees it through.
Hyde coming in 0 for 3 this afternoon. He struck out in the first, grounded out to second in the third and the fourth.
Yeah, Dolphins have done well with the top 2 players in John Jay's order today, a combined 0 for 7. It's been the 3 and 4 hitters that have really given the Dolphins problems, and that begins with Brian Garcia, who's on deck. 0-1 the count here to Hyde, who came in leading the Bloodhounds with a .450 batting average. Takes that one inside, too far inside, however, ball 1.
Bloodhounds were able to score their go-ahead run after Brian Garcia drew a 2-out walk in the third, and Dylan Lodano, who drove in all 3 runs, brought him home with a 2-out double.
So Rodriguez 1 strike away here from retiring Hyde. The count 1-2. Hyde stands in all the way to the back of the batter's box. Rodriguez with a long look. Here's the delivery. Swung on, hit third base side, and that skips foul. Past head coach Joe Mandil. John Jay recorded their first win against CSI since 2012 yesterday. Looking to take 2 out of 3 in the season series. Rodriguez, the 1-2 pitch. Too low, ball 2. And the count evens.
Yeah, nice pitch that time by Rodriguez. He took a little bit off, but just missed the strike zone.
Mike, after Hyde's at bat, we'll talk a little bit about the CUNY tournament here for baseball, as it is a little all out of whack here in 2017. We'll explain in just a moment as Hyde skies one. Will not leave the infield. Calling everybody off is Muzio. He makes the play. So Hyde is out P3, and that will bring up Brian Garcia, who's been on base all 3 times. A pair of walks, scored runs in the first and the third innings, earned on via error, and was stranded in the 5th. But Mike, teams in the CUNY are playing CUNY games. This counts as a CUNY conference opponent game, but because there are 2 teams, as that one is fouled back, that are not technically a part of the CUNY participating in the conference, that don't necessarily play the other teams, what every CUNY school is doing is, for seeding purposes, they're taking their overall win-loss into account, and 6 out of the 7 teams will make the playoffs, as roping in a single will be Brian Garcia. So for the 4th time today, Garcia on base, and it'll bring up Dylan Lodano. So even though schools are playing other CUNY schools, there are no CUNY standings this season in the CUNY conference. The teams will use their overall win-loss record against NCAA Division III only teams, and will use that towards seeding purposes. Now, the CUNY has 5 CUNY teams in it, and then Maine Presque Isle and Finlandia University are 2 non-CUNY teams that are associate members this year. Here's the pitch to Lodano, dead red, strike 1. But Mike, because Maine, Presque Isle, and Finlandia do not play all or most of the other CUNY schools, they will not have an official CUNY record at the end of the season. That's why for seeding purposes in the postseason, they will go with overall records only.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the standings.
4-6-3 double play attempt. Drawn off the bag is Muzio. The Dolphins get the lead runner, but not Lodano at first. So scored a fielder's choice, 4-6. Out on the play is Garcia. Charlie Rodriguez will be the batter now with 2 away.
Yeah, Dave, I'm looking at the CUNYAC baseball standings as you speak, and they look very strange. And now I think I understand the reason why.
Yeah, and again, Finlandia University was the one team that was added almost in the 11th hour, almost right before the season started. So there were a lot of questions. Well, if Maine, Presque Isle, and Finlandia aren't playing CUNY schools, and how do you determine the postseason? Now, the other big wrinkle in this whole thing, Mike, is that Finlandia University, for better or for worse, they will not participate this year in the CUNY tournament. They've decided that as a program, they are just not committed towards playing in the tournament this year. They just want to be a conference member and then begin postseason play next year. So that leaves only 6 CUNY schools that are eligible for the playoffs. So technically, all 6 are going to make the playoffs. The question is, where will they be seated? You got CSI, you got John Jay, you got Lehman, CCNY, Baruch, and then, of course, you have Maine Presque Isle. So they're all going to make the playoffs, regardless of their records. The question is, where will they be seated, and how do they get seated? They'll use overall win-loss to decide that. It's an unfair system, Mike, because if you're a team like CSI and you're playing some of the region's best teams, your win-loss record is going to suffer. If you're a team that's playing weaker competition, you have the chance to lock up a very high seed in the postseason. So it's a faulty system without question, as the strikeout is registered by Rodriguez and he's able to get out of the inning, but it's something that we're going to be talking about, I think, a lot over the course of the season. But anyway, the Dolphins are able to get John Jay out here in the top half of the 7th. We've reached stretch time. Bottom of the 7th coming up. The Dolphins still down by 1. Stay with us. You're watching CSI Men's Baseball here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com. Welcome back here to the CSI Baseball Complex. The Dolphins are down to their last 9 outs of the game. They're down by 1 run here against John Jay, 3-2. Both runs coming in the bottom half of the first inning. An RBI single by Nick Miola and then a double play ground out that scored Bobby Drake. The lone scoring for the Dolphins. It happened in the first inning against their starter Jared Hirschfield. And now in the game since then is Marco Alonso looking to keep the Dolphins off the scoreboard and preserve the victory.
Yeah, and Dave, the Dolphins had a couple of opportunities to score runs in this game. First in the first inning after they had tied the game up at 2, but Glenn Glenister grounded to a double play. And then in the 6th inning, they had 2 on and 1 out before Sean Becker was induced to hitting into a double play by reliever Marco Alonso.
And the story of this game, Mike, is that in the 6 innings that the Dolphins have hit in, 5 of those innings they've been able to get their leadoff runner on base, but obviously it was only the first that they were able to use that towards a run. As the Dolphins here have Lozado. Lozado opening up here. He takes a ball on his first pitch, offers it that one, chopped up right up the middle of the infield, collected by Hyde to throw to first in time, and there's 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, and the Bloodhounds doing a nice job this afternoon, Dave, making, for the most part, all the plays that are in front of them and not making the error that opens things up for the Dolphins here, playing pretty well out in the field this afternoon.
Chris Moran is 0 for 2 in the game. He struck out swinging and popped up to first his last time up. And that one just misses the strike zone for a ball. And that one's down low once again, ball 2. So Moran looking to get something to work with here. Here's the pitch. 2 inside. May have caught Moran. It did on the elbow. So Moran gets a pass over to first base. And with 1 out, the Dolphins have a base runner on via the hit by pitch.
And, Alonso has come in and he's pitched pretty well, Dave, but that's not a good job hitting Chris Moran, who was batting just 176 coming into the game this afternoon. So a break for the Dolphins. Let's see if they can take advantage of it.
Jet Navertny had a couple of big doubles yesterday during the Dolphins doubleheader against John Jay. He's 0 for 1 officially here tonight. Swings and chops that one towards the gap between third and short. The force out at second base takes out Moran. No play at first. And so Navertny will take Moran's place at first base, and they'll be 2 away here in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, and that was a very good defensive play that time by the Bloodhounds, Dave, able to get the lead runner there, and now the Dolphins will need a 2-out hit to try to get back here in the 7th inning.
And that'll leave it up to Frank Sconzo, who's 0 for 2 officially. He walked and scored in the first. Flied out to center and grounded out to second his last time up. Dolphins with 4 hits total in the game, facing their second John Jay pitcher of the evening, Marco Alonso, who's making his 7th appearance of the season, all in relief. There's the check over to Navertny at first. Now you remember, Navertny was caught stealing back in the 5th inning when he was essentially picked off and in the middle of his run to second. And he's going to see his way back to first again here on Alonso.
So the Dolphins looking for a little 2-out hit here, Dave, and trying to get back in the game, trailing 3-2.
Should mention as well that John Jay does not have anybody warming up in their bullpen, so you would assume that this is Marco Alonso's game here, at least for the foreseeable future. Dolphins do have an arm warming up in their side of the bullpen. Navertny takes off. There's the throw over to second, nowhere close, and Navertny's going to have himself a stolen base and gets himself onto second here, so a long single could bring home the tying run. And when we get back to action, Sconzo's going to see a 1-0 pitch coming his way.
Yeah, nice job by Navertny to get himself in scoring position. Like you say, Dave, Dolphins just 1 base hit away from tying this game up.
Alonso sets, delivers a high strike. 1-1 is our count.
Yeah, one of the differences, Dave, between this year's team and last year's. Last year, Dolphins batted 305 as a team, so practically 30 points less at batting as a team so far here in 2017.
And that one is down low and outside. Good job by Lodano to keep it in front of him. 2-1 the count, and I don't have the statistic readily in front of me, Mike, but also it's the statistic of batting average with runners in scoring position as well. It's one of the things that Mike Morrow was saying his team's got to do a better job of getting that timely hit when they need it most, as there's a swing and miss by Sconzo, runs the count even at 2-2. Sometimes you can win games, Mike, when you've only got 3 or 4 hits in the game, but if those hits are timely and occur when runners are placed on the right bags, that's when you can really do some damage.
Big chance for Sconzo to try to drive that run home with 2 outs.
That one's another pitch way outside, so the count runs full 3-2. So big decision here for Alonso, how he wants to come in on Sconzo. With first base open, Navertny doesn't expect to be in motion here, but we'll see what happens. There's the pitch. Sconzo offers. It's fouled off first base side. Hits the netting.
Nice job by Sconzo fighting that pitch off, giving himself another pitch to look at here with the count full at 3-2.
Bobby Drake is on deck. He's 0 for 2 today. A fly out to first and a ground out to second. Here's the payoff pitch. And Sconzo just manages to get a piece of that one. Fouled straight back.
So Sconzo staying alive, and he'll get an opportunity now to see his 8th pitch of the at-bat.
Alonso, a long look to Navertny at second. Now squares up. Here's the pitch, and it's behind Sconzo. It gets away, obviously, from Lodano. That allows Navertny to go over to third base, and so now the Dolphins, with runners on the corners, a walk issued to Sconzo officially puts him on base for the second time in the game, and Bobby Drake now the batter with 2 out.
Yeah, and this is why teams struggle sometimes, Dave. The Dolphins now with runners at first and third. They've yet to get a base hit here in this inning. A hit batsman, a stolen base, a walk, and a wild pitch have given the runners first and third for the Dolphins with 2 out.
And Joe Mandiel will now have a conversation with Marco Alonso. Like we mentioned, nobody warming up in the John Jay bullpen, so you'd assume that Alonso will stay into the game here. And in a separate conversation down by the third baseline, the Dolphins strategizing here their base running decisions as they have runners on the corners with 2 out. Mike, we've seen this happen where the runner at first base, Sconzo, will take off to second base, try to induce a Lodano throw, thereby bringing in Navertny. So you'd think that Morrow would probably send Sconzo over to second, but with the Dolphins' penchant for getting picked off sometimes in those situations, you also want to avoid a catastrophic play where, you get that easy out.
Yeah, and if you're the Bloodhounds, you got to really think about whether you want to throw the ball through or not. Bobby Drake, who's coming into today's game, coming in 0 for 2 with a walk here in the game this afternoon, is batting average down below 210.
Drake did come in second on the team, though, in RBIs with 7 coming into this game, but he takes a first pitch strike. Didn't like the call. Got an explanation from the ump.
Yeah, he also batted .344 last year, Dave, so he can hit. Just hasn't hit that well so far this year.
There's the expected throw over to first. Sconzo had a very minimal lead there, so he's able to get back pretty easily. And again, only about a 2 or 3 step lead for Sconzo. See if he takes off here. Time is called by Drake in the batter's box. On deck is Miola. He's 2 for 3. Had a double against Alonso on 1 pitch the last time he saw him. Here's the pitch. And Drake cuts on. Big cut and a miss. As taking a little off that last pitch was Marco Alonso, and now an 0-2 count Drake will stare at.
Sconzo leads the team in stolen bases. He's 4 or 5 for the year.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't gone already, Mike. Here comes an 0-2. Sconzo takes off. It's offered at. And getting there to make the play, and a nice one at that was Napier. He was running to his right, had a double back, a nice defensive play by Napier, gets the John Jay Bloodhounds out of the jam. So the Dolphins do not score in the bottom of the seventh. We are down to the final 2 innings of the game. It's John Jay 3, the College of Staten Island 2. Stay with us. You're watching CSI Baseball right here, only on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com. We are back here at the CSI Baseball Complex. The Dolphins trying to keep John Jay off of the scoreboard, give themselves a better chance to tie or take the lead in the 8th or the 9th. We head into the top of the 8th. It's John Jay 3, the Dolphins 2. This is the rubber game of a 3-game set between these two teams. The team split a doubleheader yesterday. John Jay winning 11-4, the Dolphins winning 6-2. And Juan Rodriguez will now pitch his second full inning, his third in relief here. And it will be C.J. Meyer to lead things off. 6, 7, and 8 hitters upcoming in this inning. Meyer, for the first time in the game, leading off an inning. He actually ended the first inning, the third inning, and the 5th inning for John Jay. He's 0 for 3. Righty versus righty here. Rodriguez sets, delivers, strike one.
Rodriguez doing a very good job, Dave, since coming into the game for the Dolphins.
Yeah, Rodriguez did. He came in after a walk situation for Taunton. That time, that one is low for ball 1. Rodriguez, this is his 7th batter faced. He has retired 6. And that one does hit the high corner for a strike.
Nice pitch that time by Rodriguez, getting the ball in the outside corner to get ahead 1-2.
Rodriguez, as we mentioned, his first action of the season. Only pitched 6 innings last year. And that one is waved at and hit into the outfield, and that will find the gap between left field and center field. And Drake is the first one to it. But a leadoff base hit for C.J. Meyer, his first of the game. And that will bring up R.J. Davia. Davia, 1 for 3. A single sandwiched between 2 strikeouts.
Bloodhounds now with 7 hits on the evening. They're out hitting the Dolphins 7-3, and they lead 3-2.
C.J. Meyer has not stolen any bases this season for John Jay. Feigning bunt, but taking it off was R.J. Davia, and that will be a ball, as that was too high. But with the Dolphins not really hitting well in this game, Mike, they would really like to keep this a 1-run game without question, as Rodriguez checks Meyer back at first. He's in time.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Alonso comes back out, Dave, for the Bloodhounds, as they have action going down in their bullpen here in the 8th inning.
The Dolphins had a couple of arms warming up on their side as well. Since then, nobody up. Charging in. Oh, and there's a tough throw over to second base by Lozado. Nobody covering third. Now Rodriguez gets there, but fielder's choice will get Davia into first base. Nobody out with the runners at first and second.
Yeah, and Dave, you could see that was going to be a tough play to begin with, and you could certainly understand wanting to get the lead runner in a 1-run game heading into the 8th inning, but you got to take outs where you can find them, Dave, and that time the Dolphins are going to give the Bloodhounds an extra out as they have an error scored on the play.
Yeah, so Lozada will get credited for the error on the play. And again, Mike, that was definitely an out on the play by Davia. Should have been out at first base. That throw should have been there. You get the sure one out. Instead, now the Dolphins are in a dangerous position. Runners at first and second, nobody out. And Jarrell Diaz is the batter. Diaz is officially 0 for 2. He grounded out to first. He struck out, and then he walked and stole a base. And his walk ended the evening for James Taunton, the starting pitcher for the Dolphins. Here's the pitch. And that one does get the corner of the strike zone for strike number 1 here.
So Diaz not showing bunt on that first pitch.
Yeah, surprised by that too. Dolphins first and third baseman are playing right on the lip of the grass. There's the bunt shown. It's a good one. Sconzo catches up to it. Darts one over to first base for the sure out. But a 2-3 sack bunt for Jarrell Diaz moves the runners over to second and third. So Meyer takes third, Davia takes second, and Sean Napier will be the batter with 1 out.
Yeah, that was a nice bunt that time by Diaz, and it was put in a spot where he had an opportunity to beat it out. Good defensive play by the Dolphins, but now the Bloodhounds have 2 opportunities with 2 runners in scoring position.
Napier flied out to center field. He singled to right field and then grounded out to third base, so he's hit it everywhere. A base hit here could potentially score 2 and give John Jay a 3-run lead. That one is skied up in the air. That out of play on the first base side, so strike 1 here to Napier.
And the Dolphins have the infield in all the way around, Dave. All 4 fielders right on the edge of the infield grass.
Yeah, the object is to keep Meyer planted at third base on a ground ball. Brandon Thomas is on deck. He's 0 for 4 for John Jay in the leadoff spot. Here's the pitch. Too high for Napier. That'll be ball 1. Big moment in the game here for relief pitcher Juan Rodriguez. First 2 base runners got on. Brought over by a sac bunt. Here's the 1-1 pitch way high for ball 2.
And Rodriguez working himself into difficulty here. He allowed the single. Davila reached on an error. They were sacrificed over to second and third. He does have an open base, though, Dave,
that's right,
with runners at second and third.
Sean Napier will look at a 2-1 pitch. Swung on and fouled straight back. Good cut by Napier. Healthy on that one. 2-2 will be the count. Big pitch up coming here for Rodriguez.
Yeah, big action pitch here, Dave. You don't want to go 3-2, but he does have the advantage of pitching with the open base.
A long set here by Rodriguez. Here's the delivery, and that one's in there for a call, strike 3. Big pitch by Juan Rodriguez. Gives the Dolphins 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning. Top of the order coming up.
Yeah, you know, Dave, if you're Sean Napier, you want to give yourself a chance. That time he gets caught looking with 2 runners in scoring position for the second out.
So Brandon Thomas has struck out looking twice. He grounded to first base. Popped out to second his last time up. A pop-up that took Navertney into the shallow outfield. And that's a big, healthy cut, but swung right through it for strike number 1.
And Thomas is average down under 150 now, Dave, after his 0 for 4 here this afternoon. You got to go right at him if you're Rodriguez.
4 RBIs on the year. He's got a big spot here. Give his team a bigger lead. That one is fisted towards right field, having to give chase, but getting there is Navertney to score the out in the shallow depths of right field. So the Dolphins avoid a big situation, 2 runners on, nobody out, get out of the inning, and we go now into the bottom of the 8th inning. Dolphins still have work to do at the plate. They're down by 1. Stay with us. You're watching CSI Baseball right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com. Welcome back here. We are getting set for the bottom of the 8th inning of play. The Dolphins here are looking to get themselves back even or take the lead. They've only had 2 runs on 3 hits, both runs coming in the bottom of the 1st inning. In fact, 4 of the game's 5 runs came in the 1st inning. Since then, it's been a story of good relief pitching, Mike, and, really good fielding out there behind the pitchers as well.
Yeah, Dave, the Dolphins fell behind in this game 2-0, and they got their first 4 batters on and came right back to make it a 2-1 game and seemed to be really ready to come back and score a lot of runs in that 1st inning. But Glenn Glenister grounded into a double play on a 3-2 pitch. And, since then it's been the John Jay pitching doing a great job keeping the CSI bats in check. Just 2 hits allowed to the Dolphins since that 1st inning. And Dolphins have had opportunities with base runners, Dave, but still trail 3-2.
We should mention, too, that through 14 games this season, John Jay with 33 errors, but they've been perfect in the field here tonight. That's been a big lift for them behind their pitchers. And Alonso working another relief inning here as he delivers a ball to start things off to Miola. Miola with a big afternoon for the Dolphins despite their lack of hitting. He's 2 for 3. Smoked one for a double down the left field line his last time up. And now he's going to have a 2-0 pitch to look at.
Yeah, that 1-0 pitch just missed by Alonso, so now Miola heading to count 2-0.
Miola also with an RBI back in the 1st inning. He skies that one 3rd base line, but running out of real estate is Thomas. No play, and the count goes to 2-1.
Miola with 2 of the 3 Dolphin hits this afternoon, and their only RBI, the other run scoring on the double play by Glenn Glenister. So Miola's really been the offense for the Dolphins here this afternoon.
Here's the pitch by Alonso, and that one is chopped towards second base. Napier is there, makes the throw over to Garcia in time for the 1st out. So big out registered for Alonso.
Yeah, nice play by Napier to make that play. And, it was Napier that probably made the biggest play of the game, Dave, in the last inning as he was breaking over to cover second base on that as Sconzo was heading towards second, but did a nice job shifting back, getting to the ball, and getting the ball to first base just ahead of the diving Bobby Drake.
And Muzio will be the batter, and he takes the first pitch way outside for a ball. Muzio walked his first time up and was stranded on base. He flied out foul to 3rd base, and then he grounded back to the pitcher his last time up. So still looking to hit the outfield green is Muzio here today, and now he will find it over the head of Napier and into the shallow depths between right and center. Muzio's on base, a base hit for him, his 1st of the game, and the Dolphins have the tying run at first base.
Yeah, and the Dolphins pick up just their 4th hit here of the afternoon as they got, like you mentioned, Dave, get the tying run at first and the go-ahead run at the plate, looking for more base hits and base runners here in the 8th.
Glenn Glenister has been on base 2 out of 3 times. He's officially 0 for 1 on the day, grounded into a double play, walked and was hit by a pitch. Hasn't scored in the game. And takes that one outside for a ball 1.
Dolphins with just 4 hits on the afternoon. This is a bloodhound pitching staff, Dave, that allowed 160 hits and 105 in the 3rd innings coming into the game this afternoon.
And we should mention no one warming up in John Jay's bullpen as the check back to first is not in time to catch Muzio.
Glenister's been on base twice here this afternoon, a walk and hit by pitch. He's 0 for 1 officially.
And that's a good cut by Glenister, fouled straight back for a strike, 1-1. Muzio has only attempted 1 stolen base this season. He's 0 for 1. So not an immediate threat to steal. And John Jay has done a good job of keeping the base runners here honest in this game. The Dolphins would love to get Muzio moved over. That one is too low and too outside, so that'll be ball 2. So Glenister will get himself a pitch here, a hitter's pitch at 2-1. One of CSI's better hitters over the last 3 years is Glenister, batting .319 coming into the game this season. Here's the pitch. Sidearm delivery for Alonso. And that one skied into left field. Having to make up some ground is Meyer. He gets under it, and he will hit the cutoff, and then that'll see Muzio retreat back over to first base. So Glenister just getting under that one, Mike.
Yeah, he hit the ball pretty well that time, but drifting back and making an easy play in left field will be the Bloodhounds Maya for the second out. So now 2 outs and a runner at first base, and it's going to take a 2-out hit if the Dolphins are going to score here in the 8th.
And it's going to be Josh Mercado, Mike, to bat for Sean Becker. So Mercado comes into the game as a pinch hitter. Mercado's had limited action at the dish this season.
Yeah, Dave, he's 7 for 34, batting .206, looking for his first extra base hit. He's got 5 RBIs.
Yeah, and that's the thing, 7 hits but 5 RBIs. So Mercado has gotten big hits when it's counted at times. Muzio still at first now with 2 outs. Here's the pitch, and that one is right in the center of the strike zone for strike number 1. Mercado takes over for Becker, who went 0 for 3 today. Line out, a fly out, and a ground out. That one skips in the dirt, but Lodano does well to keep it in front of him, keeps Muzio honest at first base. The count will go 1-1 to Mercado. Mercado is a sophomore, as Mike mentioned, 7 for 34 at the plate. He has walked 3 times. He's also gotten hit 3 times. An on-base percentage of .325. And he's 1 for 1 in stolen base attempts this season. This is the DH position for the Dolphins, so Mercado obviously not expected to go into the field. And he lines one in the gap between short and third base. That'll keep the inning alive for the Dolphins. A pinch hit, base hit for Josh Mercado through the left side of the infield. That'll bring up Lozado here with 2 runners on and 2 out.
Yeah, nice bit of hitting that time by Mercado as he pinch hits a base hit to get the tying run into scoring position and the go-ahead run at first base with 2 out. And that'll bring up the third baseman now, Anthony Lozada.
So Lozada 1 for 3 on the afternoon. He singled his first time up, struck out swinging, and grounded out to short. 2 on, 2 out here, bottom of the 8th. Dolphins down to their final 4 outs. They're down by 1. Here's the pitch by Alonso, and that hits the inside corner for a strike. Strike 1 on Lozada. Big moment here for the young freshman, Anthony Lozada, batting .167 coming into the game. Limited action. This was only his 4th start of the season. Here's the pitch by Alonso, and that one's inside. Forces Lozada to step backwards. 1-1.
Dolphins 1-1 in conference play, Dave. They've just lost 1 game in the conference regular season in the last 3 years.
Yeah, that was, of course, their opener yesterday against John Jay, as that one is down low for ball 2. So Lozada could get something interesting to hit here. No one warming up in the John Jay bullpen. Lozada getting ample encouragement here from the CSI contingent and his dugout, as calling for time here is Alonso. Lozada steps back in. Sign read by Alonso. Checks the runner back at second. Here comes the delivery. 2-1 pitch. Inside corner. Strike 2 as the count evens up. Nice pitch by Alonso.
Yeah, that was a good pitch, Dave. Down in the count 2-1. Got a pitch over the plate. Lozada chose to let it go. Counts even now with 2-2.
Big pitch upcoming. 2-2 here with 2 out. 2 runners on. Lozada the batter. That one is swung on. Hit shallow right field, giving chase, but ending up in front. The throw home. There will be a play there. It's misaligned. The tying run comes in. Muzio charges in. Advancing on the throw will be Lozada. A pinch hit RBI game-tying hit for Lozada. He takes second on the throw. Runners at second and third with 2 out now, and a chance for Chris Moran to give CSI the lead.
Yeah, that was a good piece of hitting that time by Lozado, Dave. He really didn't get all of it, but he did enough to get it over the head of the second baseman and in front of the right fielder, Diaz. Diaz came up throwing, but really didn't have an opportunity to get the runner at the plate, and that allowed the Dolphins to move up. So now they have runners at second and third with 2 outs here, and they've come back to tie this game at 3.
And we're going to have a pinch hitter for the Dolphins as well, as Chris Moran has not come out of the dugout to take any swings, and getting set to come in here, Mike, if I can pick up the number correctly, will be number 32 for the Dolphins. Of course, John Pomarico, another one of those first-year players for the Dolphins. Pomarico batting .222 this season. This is only his 7th appearance. He's 2 for 9 from the plate. And with that timeout, now John Jay wants time. And Joe Mandiel looks like he might take the ball here from Alonso. So with nobody warming up for John Jay, it looks like he might go to one of his field players. It looks like the center fielder, Rodriguez, may come in and grab a different glove and get ready to pitch.
Yeah, that was a tough break. And if you're Hirschfield, Dave, you pitched such a good game, and then Alonso comes in and pitches real well and, gets to a 2-2 count. But Lozada, with a nice bit of hitting, is able to fist an opposite field single to tie the game up. And if the Dolphins could get a base hit here, Dave, they have an opportunity to take the lead.
All right, so, Mike, while we have a short break, let's just mention the substitutions. Michael Wang, number 7, will come in and play center field. And coming in from center field to pitch will be Charlie Rodriguez. Now, to give you the line on Rodriguez, this is only going to be his 3rd appearance of the season. Mike, he's 0 for 1 with an 11.37 ERA. He's given up 10 runs on 12 hits in 6.1 innings. He's walked 4 and struck out 6. He's a hard-throwing left-hander, as you could see, Mike, and it's going to be interesting as he goes up against Pomarico, a young man, Mike, who hasn't gotten a lot of at-bats, just 2 of 9, and a huge monster opportunity here for the Dolphins.
Yeah, and, and also with Rodriguez just coming in from center field and really, without an opportunity to warm up, we'll just get his warm-up throws here. And, with the Dolphins, Dave, with the go-ahead run down at third base here, the Bloodhounds can't afford a wild pitch or a pass ball either. So a big pressure situation, and, you got to feel for the Bloodhounds a little bit here, Dave. Leading in this game by a score of 3-2, heading into the bottom half of the 8th inning, but Alonso couldn't close the door. Nice job of hitting by the freshman Lozada as he gets his 2nd hit of the afternoon, and it's enough for the Dolphins to tie up the game, and Dolphins just 1 hit away, Dave, from taking the lead.
And we should mention, Mike, that the pitchers of record have now changed. Juan Rodriguez will get the decision for the Dolphins, yay or nay. And then, of course, Alonso's on the hook for the base runners here in this 8th inning. So the starters have now been wiped out of the equation, Taunton and Hirschfield. And now a very interesting matchup here is Charlie Rodriguez, who's pitched all of 6 1/3 innings this season for John Jay, will face Pomarico, who's had all of 9 at-bats in his career. 2 runners on, 2 outs here for the Dolphins. John Pomarico, we gave you his numbers. 2 for 9 on the season, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored, no extra base hits. He's walked twice. He's struck out twice. He's stolen a base once he's got on the bags. But he's got 2 base runners to work with here. And that one's up high for ball 1.
And Rodriguez does have space to put Pomarico on at first, so there is an open base. So he can work with that in mind.
There's a check swing strike there on Pomarico. Should also mention, Mike, that the Dolphins have a lot of speed at third base with Mercado. So should a ball get away from Lodano, if something should skip into the dirt, Mercado's able to get in via that route as well. 1-1 is the count. Rodriguez, fresh from playing center field, on the mound for John Jay. Here's the pitch. Swung on and hit sharply in the air, but that will carry foul. Getting a lot of that was Pomarico. He knew it.
Yeah, unfortunately, just a little bit out in front, and the left fielder, C.J. Meyer, was well over toward left center, so he wasn't getting anywhere near that ball, but well fouled down the left field line.
And for Charlie Rodriguez on the flip side, he's now 1 strike away from getting John Jay out of this big jam. Here is the pitch by Rodriguez, and it is high and inside. John Jay wanted the call. I felt that was well out of the strike zone.
Yeah, and actually the first baseman, Brian Garcia, was halfway to the dugout, but I agree with you, Dave. I thought that was a ball.
So 2-2 will be the count here to Palmerico. Rodriguez gives a long look. Mercado at third. Lozado at second. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 3. First base is open, obviously, for Rodriguez. Jet Navertney is on deck for the Dolphins. He's 0 for 2 officially. Big payoff pitch upcoming here. Freshman in a big spot here for the Dolphins. Palmerico looks at the 3-2. Swung on and fouled towards his own dugout.
Yeah, and that was a nice job by Palmerico, Dave. That was a good pitch that time by Rodriguez, but Palmerico fought it off, and he'll make Rodriguez do it again.
Big spots for both of these young athletes here. In a big game, the rubber game of this 3-game set. Bottom of the 8th, tie game here at 3. Dolphins have come back twice to tie. Here's the pitch by Rodriguez. Well outside, ball 4. And the Dolphins will get another free pass on the bases. So now the bases are loaded. And Jet Navertney, who hit a couple of doubles in yesterday's doubleheader against John Jay, will have the bat. We'll have a pinch runner coming in at first base. For the Dolphins, it will be number 4, Ariel Paez, to come in to run here at first base. Paez, this is his 6th appearance. He has no stolen bases.
The second baseman, number 2, Jet Navertney.
So now Jet Navertney flied out to left his first time up. He walked and then was caught stealing, and then he grounded into a fielder's choice and stole a base. Swung on and hit in the air towards center field. Wang is under it, makes the catch, and John Jay gets out of the inning, but not before the Dolphins get the tying run to cross. And we go to the 9th and final inning of play with the score tied at 3. Stay with us. John Jay coming to bat. It's the Bloodhounds 3, the Dolphins 3, right here on CSI Sportsnet. Stay with us. Welcome back here to the CSI Baseball Complex as we get set to bring you the 9th inning here between the Dolphins and the Bloodhounds of John Jay. We have a tie score, 3-3. And the pitcher of record is Juan Rodriguez. He's going out for his 3rd full inning of work. And he will face the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Zach Hyde will be the leadoff hitter here for John Jay in the 9th. John Jay looking for a spark. They've had 2 leads in this game, a 2-0 lead in the top half of the first inning, and then they took a 3-2 lead back in the top of the 3rd, held on to it until the Dolphins tied it up in the bottom half of the 8th moments ago. That one up high and inside, ball 2 to Hyde. Hyde today 0 for 4. He struck out, grounded out twice to second base, and popped out to first base.
Looks like the Dolphins starting to get action down in their bullpen here, Dave.
Yeah, remember, this is Juan Rodriguez's first action of the season. Inside, ball 3, so Rodriguez missing 3 times inside. And remember, Mike, coming up also in this inning, Brian Garcia, who's on deck. He's been on base all 4 times he's been up. And then, of course, you have Dylan Lodano, who has all 3 of John Jay's RBIs, including a 2-run home run in this one. And there's an inside strike for Rodriguez. It's 3-1 now on Hyde.
Yeah, that time Hyde taking it all the way. Rodriguez threw it right down the middle. 3-1 the count now.
And there's no question, if you're a John Jay fan or if you're a John Jay player at this point, you're trying to set the table for Dylan Lodano, who leads the conference in RBIs and home runs with 3. 3-2 pitch now upcoming to Hyde. Big pitch here for Rodriguez. Deliver, swung on and missed by Hyde, out number 1. Great job by Rodriguez to stay on board and get the strikeout.
Yeah, that time Rodriguez came all the way back, Dave, from being down in the count to strike out Hyde on 3 consecutive pitches, and that'll bring up the first baseman, Brian Garcia. Garcia having a good day for the Bloodhounds.
1 for 2 officially. He walked his first 2 times up and scored. He reached via error and then earned on via a base hit to right field, takes strike number 1. Lodano is on deck. We mentioned his numbers already, a home run, 3 RBIs. He's also added a double. Here's the pitch, and there's a strike, strike 2.
No action in the Bloodhound bullpen, Dave, so I'm going to guess that it'll be Charlie Rodriguez to come out and pitch the 9th.
Rodriguez delivers, and that one is popped foul, third base side, so the count stays at 0-2. Juan Rodriguez facing off against Brian Garcia. Garcia came into the game batting .340. Here's the pitch. As in there, strike 3. Another strikeout here for Juan Rodriguez, and he is 1 out away from getting out of this top half of the 9th inning, giving his Dolphins a chance to win it in the bottom half. But he'll have to get by Dylan Lodano. Lodano 2 for 4, a home run and a double. His last 2 at-bats, he struck out swinging and flied out to short. And there's a call, strike 1.
Rodriguez really starting to deal now, Dave, and he's got 4 strikeouts here so far in his relief appearance.
Yeah, been doing well in relief of James Taunton, who had a decent outing here in starting role. A swing and a miss by Lodano makes it strike 2. 0-2 is the count.
I'm looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th for the Dolphins, Dave. It'll be the top of the order, 1, 2, 3, Sconzo, Drake, and Miola for the Dolphins.
Good news for the Dolphins if they can keep John Jay off the scoreboard here, as Rodriguez wastes one down low and outside. A good line here for Rodriguez, win or lose in this one, his first appearance of the season. Here's the pitch. Swung on and hit sharply right up the middle, and it went through the wickets of Navertney, who actually moved Mike from second to shortstop. We'll see how that's officially called. That's got to be an error, and it is charged to the Dolphins, and so John Jay has a base runner. Tough play for Navertney, but at the same time, he was able to catch up to it and field it clean. Except it went through his legs, so now it will be number 20, Charlie Rodriguez, who's now the pitcher of record for John Jay.
Third error of the afternoon for the Dolphins opens up the door for John Jay here in the 9th.
Big lead for Lodano. He stays put, though, as a call strike 1 here on Rodriguez. Rodriguez got a base hit off the leg of James Taunton back in the first inning. He was then hit by a pitch, but has since struck out twice.
Lodano has not attempted to steal this year.
Check swing. That's a strike anyway, as the count goes to 0-2 now on Rodriguez. As we mentioned, Lodano at first base has not stolen a base this season, takes a pretty sizable lead. Now takes another step or two. And that one is fouled straight back. Good cut that time by Charlie Rodriguez. Pitcher versus pitcher here as we are into the late stages here of this 9-inning affair, top half of the 9th. Here's the pitch. Swung on and hit deep into center field. Bobby Drake has a long way to go. Backpedals and makes the catch in the deep recesses of center field. So the Dolphins get out of the bottom half of the ninth. We go to the bottom of the ninth inning. The Dolphins send up the top of the order. They are tied with the Bloodhounds 3-3. Stay with us. You're watching CSI Baseball right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com. Welcome back here to the CSI Baseball Complex. The Dolphins are looking to use their final 3 outs to muster up the go-ahead run in this one. They've been trailing all game. They've tied it twice. They've never had the lead. They'll send up their top of the order against relief pitcher Charlie Rodriguez. A tie game here, 3-3. Frank Sconzo will be the leadoff batter. He's 0 for 2 officially. He's been on base twice. He scored back in the first inning, both times on base via a walk. Other than that, he flied out to center field. He grounded out to second. This is his first at-bat against Charlie Rodriguez. First pitch to Sconzo. Inside, ball 1.
Ooh, that was a close pitch to start. Good eye by Sconzo to get ahead in the count now, 1-0.
Infield outfield playing very normal depths here. And that one is in there for a call strike.
Nice job of pitching by Juan Rodriguez in the ninth inning for the Dolphins. He fell behind Hyde 3-0 and came back from a 2-out error to set the Bloodhounds down in their half of the ninth.
Dolphins having played 2 games yesterday, 1 here today. They have another one tomorrow, another single game Wednesday, and then 2 more on Thursday, followed by 3 again this weekend. So you talk about a pitching staff that's going to take a heavy toll. Mike, you know, the Dolphins would love to score a run in this one, not only to win the game, obviously, but also to kind of save some of those arms. They might need them during the later part of the week as well.
Yeah, they only had to use 2 pitches here this afternoon, and if they could get a run here in the ninth, they could get the win. And like you mentioned, Dave, try to keep their pitching in line for the rest of the week.
Yeah, these are not Major League Baseball pitching staffs, Mike, and when you're playing 8 games in the next 7 days, it's going to be pretty taxing as Sconzo draws a leadoff walk. So once again, for the Dolphins, they get a leadoff runner on base. And for Sconzo, that's the 3rd time he's walked today. And Bobby Drake will be the batter. Drake has also walked today. That was way back in his first at-bat. Since then, he's 0 for 3. Sconzo, as Mike mentioned earlier, leads the team in stolen bases, but laying down the bunt, and a good one is Drake, and he is not able to beat the throw. Nice job by John Jay to field the bunt. Lodano did a nice job picking it up, fielding and clean, and throwing it over. But sacrifice bunt applied successfully.
Yeah, that was a very good bunt that time by Drake. He made sure to get the ball down before he left the batter's box, and really sacrificed himself, giving up the opportunity for a base hit. But the Dolphins now with 2 opportunities, with the go-ahead run at second base and the game-winning run at second base, as Bobby Drake is successful on his sacrifice, his 3rd sacrifice of the year. He now leads the team.
And that, of course, brings up Nick Miola, who's probably CSI's hottest hitter here through the first 15 games of the season. He's coming in batting .357. He's 2 for 4 today. An RBI base hit, and then he screamed a double down the left field line.
Boy, Dave, he's down in the count now 0-1, but with a lefty pitcher and a lefty batter coming up, there's no way I'm pitching to Miola here.
Yeah, interesting there as Miola last time he was up grounded into second. That one is swung on and hit sharply towards short. Fielded clean by Hyde. The throw to first is in time. So John Jay registers the second out, but Frank Sconzo does move over from second to third. So even on a bloop single here, the Dolphins are going to win this game. That's all they need. And it'll be up to the bat of Frank Muzio.
Yeah, I like that play by Hyde, Dave, even though the ball was hit in front of the second baseman and Sconzo was running right in front of him. I like getting the out there for the second out rather than making a mistake. That allows the Dolphins to have a runner at third with less than 2 out.
And it'll be up to the bat of Frank Muzio here with 2 out. That one in the dirt. Skips away from Lodano. It's getting away, and in to score is Sconzo, and the Dolphins win it on a walk-off wild pitch. They come from down behind 3-2. They score 1 in the 8th and 1 in the 9th. Mike, pretty typical of the way the game has gone. It wasn't pretty. It was sometimes downright ugly, but Frank Sconzo gets himself a walk to get on, a sacrifice bunt, a ground out, and then a wild pitch. The Dolphins do not hit the ball out of the infield. They don't hit the ball, period, and they score the game-winning run.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and if you're John Jay, you got to be really upset. You allow a run on a double play in the first. You allow a 2-out bloop single in the 8th, and then in the 9th inning, a wild pitch that allows the game-winning run to score as the Bloodhounds able to get 1 win in the series and beat the Dolphins for the first time since 2012. But a great job by the Dolphins, Dave, to come back and win the final 2 games.
Yeah, you know what? Mike, sometimes, the Dolphins are the returning champions, the defending champions, and championship teams have to find ways to win. They have to manufacture wins. They have to come up with new and ingenious ways to pull games off. This was one of those times, Mike. The Dolphins didn't hit the ball well all game long. They got a great relief appearance from Juan Rodriguez, who ends up being the game's winning pitcher. Again, a walk, a sacrifice, a ground out, and then a wild pitch leads to the game-winning run. You know what? Sometimes you got to manufacture wins. That's a perfect example of how you manufacture one.
Yeah, Dave, and you can only go to the well so often. You let leadoff runners get on, especially without the benefit of a base hit, and it inevitably comes back to bite you. The Bloodhounds were able to get away with it here, really the entire game except for the first inning. But come the 9th inning, you allow that leadoff runner on with a base on balls, and the Bloodhounds did a good job getting a couple of outs there. But, inevitably something bad happens, and it turns out to be a wild pitch or a pass ball, however you want to score it. But the Dolphins were able to come home and get a big win and win 2 out of these 3 games against the Bloodhounds.
So, Mike, let's set the stage for what is to come here on CSI Sports. And it is going to be a baseball-dominated week for us. We will be right back here tomorrow. It'll be CSI Dolphins versus Mount St. Vincent tomorrow at we have a 6 p.m. written down. Is that right?
I believe it is.
Yeah, 6 o'clock is our first pitch time. Mike and Joe Foreman will be on hand tomorrow to bring you that game. Once again, CSI Dolphins versus Mount St. Vincent Dolphins tomorrow, a single game. And then on Wednesday, CSI Men's Baseball versus the United States Merchant Marine Academy, 6:30 p.m. start time for that one on Wednesday. Then St. Joseph's Brooklyn College, 4 o'clock doubleheader right here at CSI. And then Saturday, the CSI Dolphins play Maine Presque Isle for a doubleheader here starting at 2. And then they host NJCU on Sunday at 4. So if you like baseball and you like CSI, you are in for a lot of baseball here on CSI Sportsnet. Hours and hours worth of it. The Dolphins have a huge homestand, and we'll bring every game of that homestand to you. So, Mike, we'll call it quits from there. The Dolphins take the season series from John Jay 2-1. They win the rubber match here in dramatic fashion in the bottom of the 9th, 4-3. And so for Mike Babuski, I'm David Pizzuto wishing you a good night, and we hope you'll join us tomorrow evening right here on CSI Sportsnet, the CSI Dolphins versus Mount St. Vincent. We get on the air at 5:45. First pitch, 6 o'clock tomorrow. Good night, everybody.